All right, here we go. Drive time, Friday afternoon, 5 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock. It is a gorgeous day, man. It's one of those, like, every time the seasons change, you wait for that first day that feels like spring outside. This is kind of that. I know we certainly had a very mild winter. You're going to have a chilly Sunday, but 80 degrees and sunny in the forecast next week. Hopefully you have some fun outdoor plans. Hopefully you're outside right now. Hopefully you're listening to us, but if you are doing that on the app, outside, golfing, hiking, then you win. Beautiful, beautiful Friday. Happy Friday to you. Congratulations. You made it to the weekend. Take a big old deep breath. We got a fun show today, man. We're going to keep you company this Friday afternoon with a bunch of different topics and a really, really good guest list. Of course, the madness of March rolling along right in front of us. We'll keep you up to date on these games and talk a little college basketball on the program. BYU, their Big 12 run came to an end, but A.J. DiBanza set the Big 12 scoring record in only 3 games. And he broke a couple of records that were held by some decent players. The record holder for Big 12 points in a tournament prior to last night was a guy named Kevin Durant. That guy's name now is A.J. DiBanza. He also broke Zion Williamson's record for most points scored over the first 2 games in a career in a tournament setting. But BYU lost to a really, really good Houston team. Houston beat the crap out of A.J. Kevin Young talked about it after the game. We'll get into it. And I'll say right now, man, if the Jazz get the number 1 pick, that's the guy. That's the guy. To see him up his game in tournament play, oh, man, very impressive. So the Big 12 semifinals start tonight at 5 o'clock. It's Iowa State and Arizona. Arizona has basically locked up one of the 4 number 1 seeds. I think 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds are decided, more or less. The NCAA committee tells us that games matter through Sunday. They tell us that every year. But then you see the bracket that's released, and essentially it's hard to tell whether or not the games actually matter through Sunday. So I think it's going to be Arizona, Duke, who survived Florida State yesterday, and then probably Michigan. And then the final number 1 seed is going to be between Florida, who I think will get it, and your outlier is if UConn runs through their tournament and wins the Big East championship. But Iowa State, Kansas tonight, 5 o'clock at T-Mobile Center. And then it's Kansas and Houston. See if Darren Peterson can get back into the conversation. I feel like AJ has kind of dominated it at this point for the number 1 overall pick. Cameron Boozer had a really good second half last night, but struggled out of the gates. But Duke was able to survive. Florida State's a really good team. They've been injured all year. They started to make a little bit of a run. So the madness of March, man, it's a great time of year. Wisconsin is getting smoked by Illinois. Illinois, a top 10 team, 58-45 is your score there. Tennessee with an early lead over Vandy, 6-2 is your score there. So we'll keep you up to date. It's a great day for college basketball. Florida beat Kentucky earlier. Michigan barely survived in a really fun rivalry matchup against Ohio State. In the world of the NBA, foul merchants are dominating the conversation. Fun night of NBA hoops last night. We had a couple of really, really good games. The Celtics and the Thunder went down to the final possession. Luka Doncic dropped a cool 51-point performance against the Bulls, and then the Nuggets survived against the Spurs, who played without Victor Wembanyama. But in the Thunder-Celtics game, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is probably going to be the MVP again if he hits the game played mark, which it looks like he's going to. And look, I think Shai is awesome. I think he's awesome. That's not a hot take. He's the best player in the league right now. But he clearly was intentionally drawing contact, as he is often wont to do, leading to Jaylen Brown yelling, "That's not basketball," which is kind of an interesting scene. So we'll get into it. We got some good NBA guests today on the program. Of course, we talked about the announcement yesterday that Utah football coach Morgan Scalley and his wife Liz have pledged a $2 million gift to the Utah football program. Initially, it was reported it was to the university and then the athletic department. No, this money's going to football, as it should, because, that's Morgan's job. So really cool thing there. Get to all the local stuff as the Jazz are back in action tonight, taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. Utah State will look to continue their march towards a Mountain West Conference championship after dispelling of the running rebels of UNLV. They take on Nevada tonight at 7:30. That game is on CBS Sports Network. World Baseball Classic, the U.S. got lucky. They're advancing. They're still the favorite to win the thing. I think Canada is the next opponent. RSL welcomes in Austin. Coming up tomorrow night at 7:30 on Apple Television out in Sandy at America First Field. So real busy show, lot to do on the program. It's good to have you with us. Again, really, really good guest list coming up on the show today. We'll start things off with Zach Harper, our buddy from The Athletic, host of the Cinephobe podcast, who writes the daily the weekly NBA Power Rankings. Does a lot with the draft, too. We're going to kick the tires with Zach on AJ and Darren and Cam Boozer and see who he thinks the Jazz should take. Stand-up comic, friend of the show now, and I can't wait to meet him. I've long time been a big-time fan of Frank Caliendo. He joined us this week. My man's coming live in studio. I'll have to be careful not to mix up metaphors and combine two different words together, as I am often want to do as a radio host, because Frank called me out on that when he joined us this week. But excited to get to know him. He's at Wise Guys this weekend here in Salt Lake City. So just search Wise Guys, Frank Caliendo, get some tickets, come on down and say hi. So we're going to get to know Frank today, live in studio for an hour. Howard Beck, my guy Howard Beck, one of the hippest NBA writers around, will join us on a Friday afternoon. And then the world of professional golf, namely the PGA Tour, is focused on what many refer to as the fifth major. It is the Players' Championship. And how about Xander Schauffele and Ludwig Oberg tied at the top of the leaderboard at 10 under par? So good leaderboard shaping up. Keep you up to date on kind of what's going on with the Players' Championship. Paul Pugmire will stop by on a Friday afternoon. So good guest list. Happy Friday. Thanks for making us a part of your day. No need to flip that dial. Keep it right here on ESPN 700. All day, quite frankly. Not just for this show, but all day, starting early with Dan Patrick all the way through afternoon drive. Here on the Drive with Spence Checketts. So Zach Harper, Frank Caliendo, Howard Beck, Paul Pugmire, me, Spence Checketts, all of you, the great listeners, and that guy, the producer of the program.
What up?
Porter Larson. Dude, I love Darren Peterson's upside. I've said this before. I actually think he's hurt. I don't think he's sandbagging, because last year, watching those high school games when the better teams would play, Darren Peterson was the best player by far. He was impossible. So I don't know that it is a consensus, but I think AJ, showing what he just did in tournament play, I don't know, man. I feel like he's moving closer and closer and closer to be the consensus number one overall pick.
No, I don't disagree with you at all. I think that what he's shown in the last, 3 or 4 weeks has catapulted him into, from what a lot of people were saying, I think was pretty much surefire to very much being in the conversation with one Darren Peterson. And the context that you mentioned with Peterson is also adding into that conversation. Now, we also have to wait to see who gets the number one pick. Now, some folks here locally would love if that were the Utah Jazz. And if that is the case, Spence, you add A.J. DeBonsa to a team with that much length, that much size, it's really intriguing. So I think the Jazz, when you add in the local tie, would probably lean towards an A.J. DeBonsa. But if you get a team that really needs a point guard, well, then it's a different conversation. So I think that the draft order is going to affect this conversation as well. As we know, fit definitely matters in this chat.
It sure does. But, man, that kid's been impressive. All right, busy show. Again, happy Friday. Our first guest today, Zach Harper, a little NBA Daily Assist style. So stay tuned for that. But before Zach joins us on this beautiful, gorgeous Friday afternoon, courtesy of our good friends at Prize Picks, it's time now for your opening tip.
Welcome to The Drive with Spence Checketts on Utah's #1 sports talk. Now into the studios of ESPN 700 to set the scene for the show. The opening tip of The Drive is brought to you by Prize Picks. Use the code ESPN 700 with Prize Picks.
Shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every diamond, every board that much more exciting, so don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. It is available here in Utah, so, of course, no worries there. And they've got a new feature alert, which is early payouts. So if your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the team or the game even finishes. Step number 1 is go get that free money, kids. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the promo code ESPN700 to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Promo code ESPN700 to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, because on Prize Picks, it is good to be right. All right, BYU's Big 12 run came to an end, but I think mission accomplished as we look ahead a little bit to the NCAA tournament. And obviously, as the home of the Utes, I very much hope as soon as next March, I can be sitting here breaking down what Utah could be doing in the Big 12 tournament or the NCAA tournament. But, you know, we've got a little ways to go there. So we'll focus on the teams who are still playing. Utah State will attempt to continue their run tonight, taking on Nevada at 7:30 on CBS Sports Network. So we'll get into some Aggie basketball today as well. But A.J. DeBonce, if you missed it, if you're just hopping in your car and turning on your radio, first of all, hello, how are you? Thanks for making us a part of your day. Second of all, Houston was able to get the win, 73-66. BYU ran out of gas, okay? A lot of conversation about the officiating. Kevin Young himself post-game, and he doesn't usually do this. Before he was even allowing a question, before they opened it up for questions, he just launched into a little bit of a diatribe about the officiating. He said AJ shot 10 free throws. Rob Wright shot 4. He thought AJ should have shot at least 20. And if you watch the game, it's actually hard to disagree. Houston, and this is their calling card, and this comes from their head coach, man. This is Kelvin Sampson's MO, and it has been for, 30 years, 25, 30 years. They're going to beat you up. You might beat them, but you're going to know that you've been in a fight, because that's who they are. And they got a bunch of big, strong, experienced wings and bigs that'll come at you. They're going to hip check you. They're going to make sure they're bumping you on every cut and every screen. I love this Kingston Flemings kid, by the way. So we're going to get to the AJ Darren Boozer conversation today to talk about who the Jazz should look at. But if the lottery, the most likely spot for the Jazz to draft as of now, of course, there are 15, 16, 17 games left for these NBA teams, would be 5th, right? So Gordy Chiesa, who joined us live in the studio, and if you missed that, go get it, man. Gordy was awesome yesterday. He actually expanded his list of, top shelf prospects to 4 players. Caleb Wilson, kid from Carolina, joining Boozer, DeBonce, and Peterson. So if the Jazz fall to 5, or if they stay at 5, because we have to remember to acknowledge that it is a lottery, and there's chances to move up, there's chances to move down, but the most likely scenario is something we need to be adults about, and right now that would be the 5th pick for the Jazz. I think you go Kingston Flemings. He was, 17 points, 7 of 15. His numbers aren't going to pop out at you. I just think he's an NBA guard. I think he's a ready-made lead guard. He's like 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". You put him in the backcourt with Keontae. Collier is your backup, and that's not a bad 3-guard rotation. And look, I know Keontae isn't necessarily an offensive initiator, not necessarily a lead guard, but Will Hardy often talks about wanting skilled players 1 through 5 on his team. But back to the BYU side of it, because really what this has done, I think, has, at least for today, solidified A.J. DeBonce as the number 1 overall prospect. I mentioned this earlier to Porter, and I've talked about this before. Because of this freshman class, and you go look at most any mock draft, 12 of the top 14 or 15 prospects are freshmen. And if you expand it, the majority of first-round picks, there are like 30 top-shelf freshmen playing college basketball right now, right? And so, in basketball circles, people have been seeing this class for a few years. So last year when all these kids were playing AAU ball or high school ball, a lot of their games were televised. And Darren Peterson, he played the Boozer Twins. He played a bunch of different really, really top-shelf high school teams, and he was impossible. There's a reason why entering the season, Darren Peterson was the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. He had earned that. If you watched him play a year ago, he was the dude that popped off the screen every game. And he just doesn't look as explosive. Like, a lot of people this year have talked about their opinion that Darren Peterson is sandbagging it. I don't think that's true. I just don't think he's fully healthy. In fact, if I was advising him, I think I would have shut him down entirely, like Kyrie did after he did his hand with Duke and played 8 games in college and was still was the number 1 overall pick. Like, for all the criticism Darren Peterson has taken for leaving games in the second half or sitting out and clearly frustrating Bill Self, if we're going to be grown-ups about this, what he probably should have done is not play one game this year. Because you know what he would be now if he didn't do that? Still the odds-on favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. He showed enough in high school circles, in the summer tournament circles, in the summer camp circles, in AAU circles, that he was the guy that was going to go number 1. But as of today, and look, we will get his medicals come combine time, so we'll know, April, May, combine, what's the deal with Darren Peterson? Is he fully healthy? Is there something going on with the hamstring? There's a hip that people have been questioning. So we'll know more about that prior to the draft. But you combine the storyline regarding Darren Peterson, and you basically juxtapose that to what AJ has done this year. And I think we're getting closer and closer and closer to being able to say that almost regardless of who it is, AJ can play for anybody. I mean, he can play in any system, right? Almost regardless of who it is, I feel like DeBonsa is the guy now. So against Houston, 26 points, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, 3 of 5 from 3. The one question that I have about AJ, that I think the answer is yes, by the way, is will he become a better legitimate threat from the three-point line as a pro? Because I think he's about 32% from 3, right? So for all of his ability to score at the rim, score in transition, get to his spot, elevate mid-range, I mean, finish with physicality. The dunk he had against Houston was nasty. The question just comes down to, if you're going to grow into a generationally special player on the wing in pro basketball, like most people believe AJ will, and I believe that too, by the way, I've absolutely seen enough. You just got to be a little bit better from 3. I'm being nitpicky because he is as complete of a prospect that I think I've seen in a long, long time. And if we view this from the Jazz prism, right? Okay. So let's look at the projected starting 5 for the Jazz next year. Could this change? Of course. The Walker Kessler storyline is permeating out there. I think they're bringing him back almost regardless of the number he gets on the open market. So this is kind of like the Hayward situation, if you remember. So Gordon, the Jazz picked up the option for the final year of Gordon's deal and elected not to extend him in that moment. And Dennis Lindsay said, go bet on yourself and go see what you can get on the open market. Gordon did, played really well, got a max offer sheet from Charlotte, and the Jazz matched it, and Hayward was back for another 4 years. And then we all know what happened after that. So Walker is going to have the same opportunity. Now, because the Jazz did not trade him prior to the trade deadline, Zubats got traded to Indiana. Indiana has long liked Walker. Some conversations. I mean, look, Laker fans think they're going to get everybody. So everyone who likes the Lakers thinks Walker's going to play there. Who knows? So is there a trade possibility? But the Jazz did not bite on any of the deals involving Walker Kessler, which to me just indicates that they're keeping him. So I'm going to go Walker Kessler at the 5, Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 4, Lauri Markkanen at the 3, Ace Bailey at the 2, and then Keontae as the other player in the mix. We're not supposed to say point guard. Will Hardy doesn't love that. That to me is the projected starting 5. But what if we got weird for a minute? What if they so for me, for a team that's trying to win a championship, Keontae George is the 7th or the 8th man. He might be the second best. No, with Triple J, he's probably 3rd. He's probably the 3rd best player on the Jazz, maybe 4th, if you're looking at Walker Kessler, and maybe Ace can kind of surpass him. But, does Keontae George play 1 minute for Oklahoma City? I'm serious. Go look at their roster. Does Keontae George play 1 minute for the San Antonio Spurs? I'm dead serious. Go look at their roster. Does Keontae George play 1 minute for the Detroit Pistons? Probably. The Celtics? Probably. The Knicks? Probably, because I think JJ, or what's his name, the Alvarado kid is playing for them. But when you look at who I believe to be the top 2 teams in the NBA this year, Oklahoma City and San Antonio, Keontae probably doesn't play at all, barring injury, what have you. So if the Jazz get the number 1 overall pick this year, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying it's interesting to consider, because can you imagine what a lineup of Walker Kessler, Jaren Jackson Jr., Lauri Markkanen, Ace Bailey, and AJ DeBonsa would look like? Even with Keontae in for DeBonsa, it's the tallest starting lineup in the history of pro basketball. Keontae 6'4", AJ 6'9". You go 6'9", 6'9", 6'10", 6'10", and 7'2". Those are your 5 starting players. It brings into question about initiating the offense. Can AJ handle that responsibility? Do you believe Ace has it in him? It's probably not the most likely scenario because Keontae's growth in no small part was a conduit to actually making the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. And they probably believe that Keontae has shown enough to start for Will because of the way he's improved. But A.J. DeBonsa just broke Kevin Durant's record for scoring in the Big 12 tournament. A.J. DeBonsa just broke Zion Williamson's record for points in your first 2 games in tournament play in college. Like, this kid has shown to be everything that we thought he could be. BYU basketball as a team this year is not as good as I thought that they would be overall. But that is mostly due to injuries to not just Richie Saunders, but Dawson Baker. The Xavier Stanton kid didn't play, right? So 3 of their top 7-8 rotational pieces are hurt. But they do enter the NCAA tournament now with some interesting momentum, kind of figuring some things out, going 3-1 in their final 4, including a win over Texas Tech, who's a really good team. And Houston's a national championship contender, and BYU was up at halftime. I don't know if they can get past the Sweet 16. And I think for how much money was spent on talent and coaching, BYU was maybe expecting a little bit more of a return on investment for this group. But they head into Selection Sunday coming up in just a couple of days, I think in a much better spot than they were a week ago. Utah State taking on Nevada tonight. We'll see if Utah State can continue their march to the Mountain West Conference Tournament Championship after winning the regular season championship for the second time in 13 years as far as outright goes. They exercised some demons with a win over UNLV. So UNLV had beaten Utah State in Logan and also in Vegas. And when we saw the matchups and the draws, kind of went, because that's not going to be a great matchup for them. Spencer Nelson hopped on the show and kind of broke down why. But Mason Falslev said, nope, not today, Vegas. He was incredible. He had 24 points on 16 shots. He had 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. And, Falslev to me is kind of the face of that program just because he is stuck around. He's still a really good player. The Carson Templin kid has as well. They've got a lot of really, really good players. I think MJ Collins led the Mountain West Conference in scoring this year. He finished with 20 points. And that game was an ass-kicking. Utah State wins by 20. So they march on. They're going to take on a good, not great Nevada team. Utah State should be able to handle them. They had some good success against Nevada during the regular season. And, of course, permeating throughout the storylines, Utah State did lose at Nevada. Of course, Steve Alford's group. The storyline permeating throughout the course of Aggie ecosystem is Jared Calhoun leaving after this year to take the K-State job. Of course, nothing official. Calhoun himself said this is silly season. But plenty of people have surmised that that's the possibility, and I would feel bad for Aggie fans. Of course, another coach stopping in Logan for a couple years, then going to get rich, but that's the name of the game. All right, let's see here. We got a little Utah RV Super Show action to tell you guys about before we catch a break to bring in Zach Harper for a little NBA Daily Assist. The 2026 Spring Utah RV Super Show is March the 19th through the 22nd. At the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. The show features the largest RV selection in the state, including the newest models and remaining inventory from the year. A must-see for buyers and fans alike. Attendees will find Class A, B, and C motorhomes, travel trailers, fifth wheels, TED trailers, and campers, covering all types of recreational lifestyles and budgets. Dealers attending the show bring some of the best pricing and special offers of the season, making it an ideal time to purchase an RV or upgrade. $10 for adults. Kids 12 and under are free. Coupons can be found on the website, UtahRVSupershow.com. One of the highlights is previewing next year's new model RVs, giving enthusiasts and prospective buyers a look at the latest technology and design trends. The Super Show isn't just about vehicles. It celebrates outdoor lifestyle and family adventures. So put your phones down, turn the TV off, and go explore the new RVs, March 19th through the 22nd at Mountain America Expo Center. We'll catch our first break of this Friday show and bring in Zach Harper coming up on the other side of a Friday drive right here on your home of the Utes, ESPN 700. Looks like we've got some breaking news here. Keontae George has a hamstring strain and is out for 2 weeks. It's not as serious as Yusuf Nurkic's deviated septum. We're still praying for Nurk. We want him to get back safely. So it looks like Keontae George has suffered a hamstring strain. Zach Harper, happy Pitbull Friday, buddy. How you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you doing?
I'm good. Have you ever had a deviated septum?
I have, yeah. I actually had surgery on my nose for having a deviated septum, and there were I don't know, polyps in my nasal cavity and all that crap, and so they did the whole thing.
Were you out of action for 4 months?
If I remember correctly, I missed about a week of playing basketball in school, and then my first day back, some kid pushed me in the nose to see if it still hurt, and I punched him, and then I got in trouble.
Oh, okay. That's a very Zach Harper story. Yeah. That is a very Zach Harper story.
Yeah.
The hits keep on coming. I don't care to talk about tanking much at all, but at least the Jazz are, doing things that teams usually do as opposed to doing what they were doing before, yeah?
Yeah, and if anything, you know what the Jazz and the Jazz fans should be doing? They should be waiting for that fine from the NBA to the Washington Wizards, because they held Trey Johnson and Trae Young out of a fourth quarter in overtime.
Yes, they did.
Orlando, so that's the precedent, right? That should be coming.
Well, and I believe Indiana had a lead in the fourth quarter, and they sat Ivica Zubac and I think it was Nembhard who had 23 points.
Yeah.
So, what exactly are we doing here, Zach? I am not the hey, everyone hates us because we're in Utah guy, but it does feel a little bit unfair.
I wouldn't say it's unfair. I'd wait to see what the league decides to do with all these tanking situations. If these teams don't get punished, then it can be a little unfair. Although Indiana did catch a stray, allegedly, with their fine when the Jazz got fined, maybe because you couldn't just have one team get fined for it. So I think Indiana kind of already got their hit, but Washington deserves one for sure.
You lived here long enough to understand the market, and you've been in other places long enough to also know what people think about Utah. So the little inferiority complex that folks run around with out here, to that you say what? And then the way that people around the NBA just view the market, to that you say what?
Yeah, with the inferiority complex, I think, look, it's a little tired to me for the fan base to act that way. At the same time, I knowing how the rest of the league and looks at the market. Look, there's something to it, right? There's something to that complex. I think it's a little overblown or a little overdone by Jazz fans, but at the same time, look, it is not a good reputation. I'm not even talking about fan stuff. People just make jokes about Salt Lake City and about Utah because they feel like it's an easy shot. Same thing happens. I grew up in Sacramento. People do that with Sacramento all the time. I get it. I think the two reputations are unfair, but I also think leaning into that complex, I don't think you're doing yourselves any favors.
When people find out that you lived here, what's the line of questioning?
The first one is why.
Jeez, dude.
First one is why, and then I get I'm serious. The first one is why, and then the second one is usually so what'd you think? And look, I'm always very transparent about this. I went in with super low expectations, and so obviously it cleared my super low expectations. I actually really enjoyed my time there. I think it's beautiful there. It's not the vibe that I prefer. It's not the going out culture that I prefer, especially at the time. But I really enjoyed my time in Salt Lake City, so I think it gets a bad rap.
Brutal stray right off the top. Why is the question?
Look, you asked. That's the first question I always get. And it's a very alarmed why.
So what's the Zach Harper going out vibe like? What are you looking for? It's a Saturday night. You got it free, no obligation. The pod is recorded. What's the vibe?
Yeah. I don't need a lot. I just need a little bit stronger drink and a little less judgment for said stronger drink. Like I felt like it always felt like it's just it's an exact pour. It's an exact, like, they got like those little stoppers on the bottles and everything. Like, I get it. That's the law and everything. And it is a stricter drinking culture there. I don't need to get hammered, but I just need I need more than 3 drinks to feel a drink, and that's kind of like how it happened there. And then, it just felt a little judgy when you're out from the people around, not the people I'm with, but the people around. But I get it. Like, look, it's just a different culture.
Yeah, if you're looking for a strong drink and if you're looking to not be judged when you have said strong drink, you probably should live elsewhere. It's hard for me to argue with that.
Yeah, so it's just not quite my vibe. But again, I really enjoyed my time there. I do think Salt Lake City gets a bad rap.
Yeah, I'll say it's good living. It's funny. I'll just age myself real quick. I'm about to have my 30th high school reunion. And
okay.
And every time I go home, whether it's holidays, summer, unfortunately, last couple times funerals because we're getting older.
Right.
My friends all say the same thing. When are you moving home? Right? When are you coming home? And I'm I kind of am home, right? I've been here for basically 20, 25 years. I tend to stand up for Salt Lake, when I'm out and about and people find out about it. But you also have to just acknowledge the oddities, or else you sound like you're just blind to how many really strange things there are here.
Yeah, it was a huge culture shock for me in many ways.
Yeah.
And I had to get used to some of that, but I met great people there. I met people that I'm still friends with to this day, and the food was better than I thought it would be, right? The going out culture, not quite as much, but Park City's right there. I really enjoyed that. It's a cool spot.
Who was your most unfavorite person you met while you were here? Say it out loud.
My most unfavorite.
Yep.
Oh,
mm-hmm.
God, I gotta choose. Huh?
I've got a name in mind that I think you would say. And
I got a few names, and I got a few names in mind. To be honest with you.
We'll chat offline, Zach.
Yeah.
I'm ready to say that AJ should be the number 1 pick, and I'm not sure how close it is at this point. To that, you say what?
I'm with you. I don't think it should be close. I think Boozer is and this is going to sound very dismissive, and I don't mean it to be. I just think Boozer's a good consolation prize. I think Darren Peterson is a wild card because of just the weird stuff at Kansas and not knowing exactly where it stands with all that. But to me, all right, let's make all things equal. I think Darren Peterson has a great case for it, but give me the 6'9" guy that does almost all that other stuff that he does and does the stuff he doesn't.
Did you spend any time in Provo while you were here in Utah?
I never made it to Provo. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, then you can't judge, dude.
Based on how I tweeted about the Kawhi Leonard-Jimmer Fredette matchups, I don't know that I would have been welcomed.
Have you?
But also, I was right.
Okay. You were right. You were right.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a Fresca with some lovely cherry syrup in it?
I mean, the first part of that's a no before you even get to the syrup.
Or maybe
a Sprite? Is it like a Sprite?
A Fresca is it's a little bit like it. A Fresca is actually a lovely beverage. I'm going to stand up for Frescas. But have you ever had a cold Diet Coke with some coconut?
I'm not a big Diet Coke person. I'm also not a coconut person. So
all right.
That's a combination I would not – 2 wrongs aren't going to make a right for me there.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you have not been to Swig.
No, but I know about it because I'm a big Secret Lives of Mormon Wives fan. Big watcher of that. So I know all about Swig from that.
Bro, you know Jen on that show?
Yes.
That's my cousin's wife. I can hook you up.
Really?
Yeah, you want a picture? You see, here's the other thing you have to understand. We're all related at some point. Porter's a genealogy expert. You go back 2 generations, we're all it's not a great look when you start to look into how closely related most of our parents are. I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, but then you get the tight-knit community, so it all pays off.
Oh, now you're standing up for it. I see. Okay. All right. Well, next
look, I'm not standing up for it. I'm just not knocking it.
Next time you're here, we're going to Provo, we're hitting a Swig, and I'll call my cousin Zach, who's her husband, and you get to meet Jen. How about that?
I'm so in for this.
What is it about Mormon culture? Because Mormons, well, we're supposed to say LDS now, just so you know. They're having a moment. What I feel like the culture fascinates people.
I think it's two things. I think, it's all under the reality TV umbrella, but I do think it's that show and it's the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Those are two pretty popular shows. And so, that plus you get introduced to things, different cultures via TikTok and Instagram. I just think that it's kind of a moment like hey, you can introduce generations and new people to it. And it is so different, right? It is so different from what a lot of other cultures in this country are. So I do think there's a genuine fascination with it.
Jen Shaw, Real Housewife. You know Jen Shaw?
Jen Shaw. Yes, that sounds familiar to me.
Married to Sharif Shaw, Utah football legend. So I'll also introduce you to Jen Shaw when you come into town.
Yeah, see, now this is really becoming a productive visit.
Yeah. You need to book your flight. Say again?
Plus we're going to Pitbull, right?
Yes, you can do it around the Pitbull show. Pitbull, Jen Affleck, Jen Shaw, Swig, and you know what? I'll make homemade fry sauce just for you.
Okay, yeah. Like I do remember. Look, I don't know that I believe fry sauce originated there, but Crownburger made a real argument for it.
We have a habit of believing some stories that seem a little bit far-fetched as far as how everything kind of went down.
I'll buy that.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Whether it's fry sauce or this is the place. Hey, look, we're all loving each other. Whatever helps you sleep at night. I'm team whatever helps you sleep at night, Zach. That's how I am.
Hey, well, yeah, whatever gets you through the day.
Indeed.
As long as it's above board.
Indeed. All right, back to basketball. Let me ask you about the Darren Peterson dynamic, Zach, because here's where I am with it, and I have no inside info to back this up. Last year, we all knew that this freshman class had a ton of big time guys. So you tried to watch some high school stuff because a lot of their games were televised and they were playing against each other. Darren Peterson played against the Boozer brothers. And there were a bunch of opportunities to watch these kids play against each other. And Darren was the guy. I don't know that it was all that close. Nobody could do anything with him. And he was jumping through the roof and dunking on people. I don't know that he's sandbagging, Zach. I think he might legitimately be a little bit hurt.
I think he's definitely hurt, or he has not recovered from that hamstring injury, which I believe he had in November. And those hamstring injuries, those are they take a lot of time away from the court to heal. And we're going to see that with various players in the NBA as they get into the playoffs and everything. Those hamstring injuries don't go away in season. And so everything that I've seen, I've gone back and watched some clips of Darren in high school and some of the AAU stuff, right? And he does look just way quicker, way springier than what we've seen for most of this season. I don't think it's sandbagging either. I think some of the other stuff, I do think he's getting questionable advice. And I keep bringing back the analogy, look, everyone was killing Ace Bailey before the draft, right, for his reputation, all this stuff. And it turns out he had a bad mentor that he trusted as a child. And people want to knock him for it. I think it's been a pretty good situation so far. I'm not there, obviously, but I haven't heard bad things about Ace in Utah since going there, since he's kind of ditched Omar. It feels like it's a much better situation. I do wonder if Darren Peterson is just getting bad advice and he's following it because, again, he's a kid.
Yeah, I'll tell you, AJ's been Ace has been a pleasure. He's a sweet kid. And he's good. He's got a chance and all
legitimately good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the accounts are, Zach, that he's a worker too. Everyone with the Jazz says great things about him.
Yeah, and you heard all this negative stuff about him going into the draft because there was all this posturing from, someone he trusted with his career early on. And I don't fault him for that because I don't know how a kid is supposed to know differently than that. And then all of a sudden, oh, he doesn't work. Oh, he doesn't want to be there. Oh, he has a bad attitude. It's I haven't heard any of that stuff since he's been in the NBA.
So Gordy Chaser was in the studio yesterday. We got into some draft stuff, and he said he was willing to extend his list to what he believes is at least 4 generationally potential special pieces. Caleb Wilson is his number 4. The top 3 they're the 3 that we talked about. Tell me what you see. Yeah. He's hurt. Unfortunately, he had surgery on his thumb. But what have you seen when you've watched Caleb Wilson?
I mean, he's just he's someone who, it sounds kind of cliche, but he is someone who just makes a play on both ends of the floor no matter what. And he had a game want to say it was against Kansas earlier in the year, or maybe it was against, I don't know if they played BYU. He played one of those guys, right? And dominated out of nowhere. And scouts going into it have been talking about, like, I don't know if he's got a motor, yeah, he's good, but like I don't think he's up near the top of the draft. And then it turned out like he took a lot of that stuff personally from like high school, like McDonald's All-American game and kind of being shunned and not given the ball and stuff. And he was like, okay, I'm going to destroy you when I play you. And all of a sudden scouts like, oh, he's got that dog in him. Like this is it. And you've seen a different Caleb Wilson, I think, this year at North Carolina than at least scouts are saying they saw in high school. I don't have much of a frame of reference for, how he was in high school, but like if that's been unlocked in him and he's got the frame he does, the athleticism, he's got good skills. I don't know that I would put him necessarily up there with those other three, but I wouldn't completely dismiss it either. Like he is someone that has turned a lot of heads in a short amount of time.
I want to ask you about one other prospect because, look, the Jazz have been – I went to the Warrior game when Golden State was in town, and, dude, Will Hardy tried everything. I mean, yeah. Keontae was available. He didn't play in the fourth quarter. Sensabaugh was available, didn't play in the fourth quarter. When Blake Hinson hit like the game-winning three, I looked over at Will and he just put his head down. He's like, "What do you want me to do?" Like, he tried everything, and Golden State just missed free throws and point-blank layups, and they were without a bunch of pieces as well. But they're probably going to still hold on to the asset. They just shut Keontae down. I have no idea who they're going to play, but they're at 5 right now. And so the way this works, kids, is they're most likely to pick at 5. It is a lottery. Now, right. So if they're not going to move up, right? That's just kind of the luck the Jazz get. Hopefully they do, but chances are they're going to pick probably at 5, maybe 6, and we'll see where the ping pong balls bounce. But the more I watch Kingston Flemings, Zach, the more I like him. You know what I mean? And I think you draft him and put him next to Keontae, and you kind of see what you get there.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea. I don't mind like kind of having similar players and creating a culture of competition to earn the ball and earn minutes and all that stuff. I really like that kid Acuff as well. Like I think he's someone that's super interesting. But yeah, like I mean Fleming's like everything I've heard from scouts about Fleming, they're like, this is a guy, Gordy's talking about Caleb Wilson. Like Fleming is a guy that a lot of people are like, hey, this kid might take off completely at the next level. Kind of in a similar like discussion point as Jeremiah Fears had going into the draft. Like, hey, you put him in the right situation, this might really take off. And then he's looked good in New Orleans. I wouldn't say he's looked like a great point guard, but you can see, hey, there's legitimately something there as he gets a little more fine tuned at the NBA level. I think Fleming is right there. Like, I think he could play alongside pretty much anybody and make an impact. And he's someone that I don't think anyone's going to crack that top 4. I do think Wilson's firmly there. I'd be shocked if Fleming doesn't go 5th.
On the scale of, wow, scoring 83 points in an NBA game is very impressive, to, wow, that was gross, where are you at with the Bam stuff?
I'm 100% wow, that was impressive.
Yeah, me too.
83 points is 83 points.
Right.
Like I think anyone trying to discount it, like, I think it's gross. Like JJ Redick saying that wasn't, basketball. I'm sorry. How was basketball when you were leaving LeBron James in to try to hunt out his double-digit scoring streak?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Like Brian Keefe's going to say that wasn't basketball. Like, what would you know good basketball looks like at this point?
Right.
Like, I think it's so hypocritical. I think it's not understanding the history of the game. Wilt Chamberlain, they were fouling to get the ball back so he could get to 100 by all accounts. We just don't have film of it, but that's what like every written account is they were doing that as they're up 20. Kobe Bryant was left in way longer than he should have been in that Raptors game. That like there's this lore that, Kobe the Lakers need every single one of those points to win that game. No. Granted, he was at like 74 when the game was out of hand. But he got 7 extra points because he was hunting those points, as he should. I have no problem. You have a chance to hunt out history. I don't care what the game is, what the situation is. As long as you're doing it in a way that does not cost your team the victory, you should absolutely go for that.
I was a little bit shocked and disappointed, because there are a lot of players and coaches and execs in the league that say things like, the media seems to hate basketball. The media seems to hate the NBA. Yeah. And for the crowd that decided to take umbrage with the way Miami went about it, it's a game against Washington in March, dude. Like, what was going to be interesting about that? Like, you complain that the regular season sucks, and then suddenly we get a really cool thing, and you complain about how the cool thing happened, you know?
Yeah. And like, I talked to Norris Cole on SiriusXM NBA radio, and he was like, and granted, like, look, Norris is going to be biased. He played for Miami Heat. He loves that organization, so I get that. But he was like, I don't get why anyone, like, if you're mad at anyone, be mad at Washington. They're the ones that did. Like, they fouled him. None of these were like manufactured calls. Like, they fouled him completely every single time. There wasn't a bad call in that whole thing. They also didn't double him until like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He had 60 something at that point. Like, you want to say none of that was basketball? Point that at Washington. Don't point that at Miami.
And, you know, Asia Wilson was there. His mom was crying. Like, dude, enjoy something fun. Like, enjoy life. Yeah. Don't complain about everything all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Next time someone scored 83 points, then we'll really be into it. But this time we didn't like it. Like, grow up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, a couple minutes left here. I'll set you loose. What are you willing to say San Antonio can do this year?
I've been very resistant to say like they can make the finals and win the finals because the youth and the lack of experience, and you got to see teams take those steps, right? But I'm at a point now where like Wemby is so good, I don't know. Like, we just saw OKC beat a lot of history last year in winning the title the way they did, despite, you know, yes, all these things were in their favor, but they had so little experience and they were so young, second youngest team in history to win a championship. And maybe that is a sign of the times. Maybe that's a sign of parity. Maybe that's a sign of skill development in younger players that is different than it used to be. I don't know what that is, but I do know that Wemby, all season I've been like, no, it's either Jokic or it's SGA for MVP, and I don't want any 65-game rule. You know, this player's got to be in it because of that possibility. Like, I don't want any of that. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, Wemby is probably ahead of Jokic. And it doesn't take a 65-game rule to put that into play. Like, SGA is probably the MVP right now. I think Wemby's right there, and he's so good. And also, like, it's not just him. That team's really good, but he's so good, and he changes things so dramatically. I don't really know what to think anymore. Like, and I know that's not a great answer of like, hey, can they do it? I'm like, I don't know. But the fact that I can't just outright dismiss it, like, it's just, I don't know. They're changing the way that I'm considering this whole thing.
You think Mitch wins Coach of the Year? He's been good, man.
I think it's got to be either him or Mazzulla. I mean, the fact that they made all those cuts, like, I get it, they got Tatum back, but that's also, like, not an easy thing to just re-implement. I think it's either Mitch Johnson or Joe Mazzulla. I don't really have a whole lot of space for anybody else in that conversation.
One more question I'll say you lose, because Gordy yesterday gave us his postseason awards, and I've been doing radio with Gordy forever. He's usually right. He thinks Knipple is Rookie of the Year, not Cooper Flagg. What say you?
Yeah, I think so too, just because of the games missed. You know, he's played 12 more games. Typically, if we're talking like this is a very close race, which I do think Con versus Cooper is a close race, if that's the case, I don't usually put team success into a Rookie of the Year case because I think that's irrelevant most of the time. But if we're basically at a tiebreaker and one player's been doing it in games that mean more, I'll lend it that way. But, I mean, we're talking like 12 or 13 games difference between the two, and I do think that's got to matter.
Provo, Swig, Fry Sauce, Pitbull. Dude, you got to book your flight, Zach.
I am ready.
All right, brother. Thanks for the time. Have a good weekend. Be good, okay?
All right, buddy. Yes,
Zach Harper from The Athletic, host of the Cinephobe podcast, does a lot of mock draft stuff, does the weekly power rankings for The Athletic as far as the NBA goes. At Talk Hoops has all the links to all of his work. He's a busy boy. All right, before we catch a break, Frank Caliendo is here, live in the studio for an hour. It's going to be really, really cool. He's at Wise Guys this weekend. We'll give you all the details there. But we have a new client on the show. Excited about this because I work with them personally and have for a couple of years. It's called Game Day Men's Health. So we're in March now, which means you have a couple of months of data for your New Year's resolution. Did you set a goal to get in shape or get back in shape or lose a lot of weight? Well, how's that going? As you get older, it's much easier if you have a little bit of assistance, right? So set a goal a couple of years ago to get back in shape. Want to be in the best shape I've ever been in as a grown-up, as I'm only a couple of days away from officially being in my late 40s, no longer being in my mid-40s. So started eating clean, started working out a bunch, and was just frustrated with what I perceived to be a lack of progress. A friend recommended Game Day Men's Health. And they're giving you the very same deal they give me. It makes it very affordable. Okay, so step one is a free consultation. That's a little bit of blood work. It only takes about 15, 20 minutes. They go over your levels, and then they show you where you're doing well and then where you're a little bit deficient. And with your deficiencies, they have products that can help those. So for me, it was testosterone. I started supplementing testosterone. Then I utilized their peptides. And then within a couple of months of continuing to exercise and eat well and then using these products, the progress was like 50 times what it was before. And the great thing is 2 years later, I've kept the weight off. I'm still in shape because I follow their program. I get my blood work done about every 3 months. They review my levels, and then we review what I need to do to get back to where I need to be. And then here's the kicker. If you tell them you heard me talking about it, they're giving you 50% off of everything. Your first year membership, 50% off. It makes it insanely affordable. They've got semaglutide, tirzepatide, all the tides, whatever you need to lose weight. If you need to lose a lot of weight, utilize that, but utilize this deal because it makes it affordable. GameDayMen'sHealth.com is where you go. GameDayMen'sHealth.com, locations in Lehigh, Pleasant Grove, Cottonwood Heights, and South Ogden. Lehigh, Pleasant Grove, Cottonwood Heights, South Ogden. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, schedule a consultation. Tell them you heard me talking about it. 50% off your entire membership this year. All right, 1 hour down, 3 hours to go. The legend Frank Caliendo is live in studio. Coming up next on ESPN 700. WiseGuysColony.com is where you go for tickets, as Frank Caliendo is in town to play the Showroom here in Salt Lake, and good enough to give us some time here live in studio on a Friday. Frank, how are you, sir?
Yeah, you said you like warm weather. That translates to the studio. Apparently, this is This is a kiln in here. What is going on?
You're opening up Pandora's box, my friend.
Is that a messy situation?
We email building security.
Oh, so you don't want it that way?
No.
Oh, I thought you wanted it that way.
No, I have bitched and moaned about this for years. Here's what happens, Frank.
Oh, well, it's management? Then I love it.
We send an email to building management like, hey, I do a 4-hour radio show every day. The sun, that's why we have these dopey black curtains up. Yeah. But I can't stand it because it's dark, so I opened that one. They tell us to get over ourselves is their response. This is not hot by design.
Oh, okay. I thought this was what you wanted.
No.
And so I feel much better about you all of a sudden.
No, not at all.
No, yeah. This is it's warm in here, man. So let everybody know that I'll never be back.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, if it wasn't my job, I wouldn't come back either. But you left.
Not that I wouldn't, that they won't want me back because I'm complaining.
No. Look, I complain every day, and they still my key card still works.
And they still pay you. I'm doing this for free.
Some bucks here.
There it is.
But you live in Tempe, and so I was asking you if you swing a golf club.
I'm too wide to swing a golf club. Short arms. I got raptor arms. I can't even touch my elbows together. That kind of a thing. So. My son's gotten into golf a little bit for the business aspect as he has graduated from ASU. It would be much better for me because I get invited constantly to pro-ams and all sorts of stuff.
Sure.
To go golfing, charity events, that type of stuff. Go golf with Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
You got the fast shot yet, knucklehead? Here we go. So it would behoove me to get the golf in, but I don't know. I have no attention span. Anybody who's ever seen my axes and me go from voice to voice to voice to voice, that's not by design. That's because I just can't pay attention. So trying to focus by hole 3, I'm throwing clubs, and it's just not. It's not good. I don't have the patience.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I've become somewhat addicted to it. It kind of quenches the competitor in me. I enjoy it, but I'm also this season. Was the first season in 5 or 6 years I did not break one club. So I'm making progress.
Yeah, and the fact that you call it a season, that you're in season with golf, very nice.
Well, we do live in a place, we didn't get a lot of snow this year, but we do live in a place where typically about October to April you're not playing much.
Yeah, that's true. I forget. I live in the year round of you can do anything you want. Much.
You do. I wanted to talk to you. So I'm a huge fan of your genre. And I have tremendous respect for anyone who dares to do what you do. I love stand-up comedy. I commuted to L.A. for work for a year, and I stayed intentionally right next to the Comedy Store so I could just finish work and then go there and just – I saw that you were on Cheeto's podcast recently.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
And I saw him as a youngster, and you could tell he was pretty dynamite. He's done great things. What gave you the bug? How did you get into it?
Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to school for broadcast journalism, and before that – my dad was a minor league baseball player in the White Sox organization.
Okay.
So he played in the 60s, I think, alongside Moonlight Graham. Maybe
Field of Dreams reference.
Right? So my dad played in the 60s, 70s. He went to Eastern Illinois University. He was a college baseball player. Went to Triton Junior College where Gary Bucket went, and then ended up playing the White Sox. If you Google Frank Caliendo and batting average, there's a 200 batting average and for the Sarasota Sun Sox.
Nice.
But I grew up playing baseball. I was a catcher.
Okay.
So I was behind the plate. And, by the way, 1988 national champions, AAU All-Americans.
That a guy?
Yeah, no
okay. All right.
I'm still living in that dream. So I was a catcher, and I would mess with the hitters.
Okay.
And get the umpire on my side and schmooze those guys, over a little bit. And, just have fun, and that was kind of my audience. And then when we travel and do, travel baseball, and we're going on the road, you're in the hotels and you're in the hotel lobby, kind of holding court. I was one of those types of people.
Sure.
That was my life. So that's really where I started. Then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I like sports. But I went to school thinking maybe I'll be a sports broadcaster or something like that, like an ESPN type of deal, until I got to ESPN, and I was like, I could never have done this. The retention on stats and stuff are just way too much for me. So and actually, it's funny because the first time I went to ESPN, when I went to the campus there in Bristol, I did. It was a goofy. It was a goofy thing where I'd been at Fox for all those years,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had me call Jay Glazer for some reason.
Okay.
He was the Fox insider.
You guys don't understand how hard I work. I work so hard.
So they had me call Jay Glazer as Adam Schefter. I call him up and I'm like, you've got to call me. There's a situation with Jason Witten, and you need to know what's going on. And then I just saw Glazer at the Super Bowl. And he reminded me of the story. He calls up and he calls Schefter. He's like,
What's going on? What do you call me? What's this all about?
and Schefter's like, I didn't call you. Why would I call you?
Why would you do that?
I didn't call you.
You called me and you said something about Witten. What's going on with Witten?
There's nothing going on. I don't know what you're talking about. So then it turned out that they let him know it was me. But I mean, I think Jay didn't really totally. He was skeptical of it in the first place. He's like, why would another insider from a competing network call me about this to give me some scoopage? But he was like, okay, I just gotta try and be cordial here and not cause a problem. So, but that was one of those goofy moments. But that was at ESPN. So I'm going by Bob Lee's desk and all these. Berman was there. He's got a half-eaten sandwich. He's like, me. He's looking at my dinner, my lunch. You're gonna finish that? Yeah. Say what you will, but nobody circles the peanut butter and jelly sandwich like I do. But that was my thing was I was going to be a sports broadcaster, maybe a local.
Yeah.
I thought like that type of thing, and I just got it. I just got into the comedy thing. The Madden thing took off.
Yeah.
I got deals when I went to L.A. because of all the impressions. Nobody was doing impressions at the time. I mean, you flip on the internet and you get in the right algorithm. Everybody's doing impressions now. When I was doing it, it was like completely looked down upon.
Right.
Like people were like, no, that's not real comedy. Now everybody, that's how they get tons of likes and reposts and all that type of stuff. I'm like, and a lot of people, like there's people doing impressions of me doing there's like 3 or 4 people doing Mike Gruden now.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you what, man. He doesn't say that.
Right.
He doesn't say, I'll tell you what, man. I say, I'll tell you what, man. Yeah. That's how I get into it. And if you hear somebody going, I'll tell you what, man, it's not me. That's somebody just watched me and then is like, it used to be where you couldn't do that. Like if you were on TV, there were like other comedians would get on somebody for stealing somebody's impression. Because not everybody knows me, right? You can't possibly get out there, especially younger people. But like there's just people doing, like I would do those play calls, give me albacore 2 wide quesadilla, just making up plays. Then there's people doing this. I'm like, well, come on, man. Now you're just kind of ripping me off.
Yeah. I have to admit to something that I'm realizing in real time. Porter's a football guy, right? So he can break down schemes, break down plays, and every once in a while I'll throw a spider 2 wide banana at him.
Yeah, but he says that. Gruden says that.
But I heard you say that in his voice.
Right, but Gruden says spider 2 wide banana, and that's the dumb play. So I started making up these ridiculous plays. Yeah. The joke is the ridiculous plays that you make off it. Give me Arachnopod 3 Z. Xbox, quadrilateral.
Yeah.
So it's like those types of things. So I did sketches on those things.
Yeah.
But then the crazy thing is that I don't get like any. Like I don't care if people do it, but nobody knows. Then I do it later, and then people are like, "You're copying that guy." I'm like, no. I'll show you a sketch from 20 years ago.
Right.
I've been doing this for a while.
How I'm always fascinated, and we, like I said, Keith Stubbs, friend of the show. So occasionally we'll have, like we had Rappaport in a few months ago, and we've had a lot of mostly over the phone, sometimes in studio. And I'm always fascinated because when I was going to the store, and I would go like 3 or 4 times a week, I didn't want to hit the LA scene. I just wanted to watch stand-up comedy. You could tell which comics were jealous of others and then which comics were like genuinely happy for success. What's the scene like? Like, are you friends with any of these guys?
I'm friends with quite a few people, but I don't know the scene at all. I've never done it yet. I've only been at the Comedy Store a couple times. Okay. I've never done like that type of stuff. I lived in LA for a while, but I never did all those showcase nights.
Okay.
I would just go out on the road and make money as opposed to I just didn't like the hangout kind of feel of it, which is where most of the podcasters, the big podcasters, are all friends from hanging out in those days. Yeah. So I was on the college circuit right away because I graduated and I got out of the college. I got out of school and just started getting on the road. And then I was 22 years old. I'm talking about the same thing all the college kids know. So you get to a certain age, unless you're like super super famous, you look like you're their dad up there. And
Yeah.
So it's so and nowadays to try and do colleges, everybody's like ooh
Right.
what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So so that was kind of my path.
Was there anybody, because you're very unique. You have found your lane, right? Like your act is not
Pigeonholing myself.
Well, I mean, if you go see like Cheeto, for instance, he's just more of like he doesn't do impressions, right?
Yeah, well, I talked to him about that. People didn't know him for character, so he got in and did a bunch of improv work and was really good with the character stuff. Then he didn't really bring it to the stage.
Oh, okay.
So but for me, it's kind of a mix. I work in and out of the impressions. I love Robin Williams, that type of stuff. Yeah. Jim Carrey, work those types of things and go in and out of the impression like I do here. It's almost like I always describe it as being like a radio producer pressing the button, the sound effects button.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I really like to do most of the impressions, is just in and out and then talk about the situation. So people think the shows are all just me talking as John Madden and John Gruden the whole time. Half the time I forget to do John Gruden, so I don't even do it. I should move it up in the show, but I always forget to do it. And then I should move it up in the show, but then the last 15 minutes, I let people call stuff out that I haven't done.
Oh, cool.
And then I end up doing 5 minutes of, Gruden stuff there.
How scripted is your show?
It's about 80% scripted,
80%.
and then the 20%'s me going off on tangents if the crowd's really good.
Yeah.
I like Utah. It's generally, there should be a sign here, welcome to 80s culture. A lot of times, like, you come in and you're like, man, is Reagan still president? It's almost like and I don't mean that in a negative way at all.
Sure.
And I don't think people care, but just, but it's almost like for me, it's like, oh, this is how my life kind of was growing up. I like this. It's a little quieter here.
Yeah.
Phoenix can be like that some. I live in Tempe, but it's just so hot that you melt from it.
Well, for sure. Do you ever, because again, our ecosystem here is sports, so I know you and came to know you through all the things that you do in this realm. What percentage of the sports is kind of in your act, would you say?
It's 30%.
About 30%?
But it's on and off, and then,
Yeah.
I'll use John Madden to explain a joke later. So after I talk like John Madden a little bit, 5 minutes later, I'm like, well, the reason that was funny because of this and that, and then boom. That should have been. You sure that should have been the joke there? Is that what you think that was? Charles Barkley, come on, that's a knucklehead. And that's when Frank realized bouncing from voice to voice was just the easiest way to go. The Robin Williams theory of comedy. If you don't have a joke, you just switch voices. There we go. Serious Robin Williams, growing a beard, winning an Academy Award.
It's the talent to do that is something I can't even wrap my mind around. Did you ever meet Robin Williams?
I was supposed to, actually, in San Francisco. I didn't meet him, and his son came out to a show. I was doing a show at a place called Cobb's Comedy Club down there, big, famous, like a legendary club in San Francisco. His son came out to see me and was going to bring Robin the next night, and he didn't come back. I was like, oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Turns out he went to rehab that day.
Oh, wow.
So I was like,
okay.
That's the selfishness of me going,
sure.
What a jerk for not showing up. And I'm like, oh, man.
Would you characterize him as somebody that motivated you to try to be fun?
One of my favorites.
Okay,
by
cool.
far.
Cool.
Robin Williams on talk shows was always what I loved.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, old school Jonathan Winters, if you remember him.
Sure.
Those are the types of people that I watched in Living Color in high school. Jim Carrey doing that type of stuff.
Yep.
Saturday Night Live, Dana Carvey, who I've become decent friends with. I mean, it's just
that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you meet the people that you know. I was having lunch with John Lovitz a while ago.
Oh, nice.
John Lovitz, yes, and he's like that all the time. You can't turn it off. And I was just like, it's so crazy that you're one of the funniest people I've ever seen on television in my entire life as a kid, and even through high school. You're the person I couldn't wait to see him in like little parts in movies, and stuff like that, because he just stole everything he ever did, every scene. And I was like, it's just so crazy to be eating lunch. He goes, that's why you're paying. Okay.
That's great. I was going to ask you if you ever had a pinch me moment, like holy smokes, look at where I'm at, because you've done some really big things in your career.
One of the moments, a crazy moment, was being in a Fox dressing room with Terry Bradshaw and Franco Harris, who hadn't seen each other for like 20 or 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Talking for a few minutes. I'm like, and nobody's asking me to leave the room. That was one of those where I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Those are the types of moments. I mean, I was at the Tonight Show one time, and Tom Cruise was on the show. I was talking about Tom Cruise. I said his name 3 times, and he appeared behind me. It was like Candyman.
That's wild.
It was like Tom Cruise. And like, there he is. Like, you are a very funny man. I was like, and you complete me. So, but those moments, I forget a lot of this because I mean, it's so weird because my daughter, she was talking about Scarlett Johansson. I go, you know what? I think I was on a talk show with Scarlett Johansson once. We Google it, and there's a picture of me with Scarlett Johansson.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, yeah, I've been around. I forget some of the superstars I've been around, especially in the mid, 2002 to 2010, somewhere in there. Early 2000s. I had tons of commercials and stuff, all types of stuff I was doing, to the point where they kept offering me stuff. I was like, man, I just feel like there's too much me. It's just so crazy. And now that way of thinking is just the worst kind of thing because everybody's just puts out as much garbage as they can. And the stuff that hits is the stuff that hits, and the stuff that doesn't. That's the hardest thing I have a problem with. It's almost, I mean, I'm trying to relate it to like sports, but it's, I wanted to hit for average,
Sure.
And people are just like, go up there and take your cuts and now swing for the fences, just swing upward.
Yeah.
And I still can't get that. It's bad to have that mentality in entertainment because you're just bombarded by stuff constantly, and people just scroll past the garbage, and every once in a while something they'll forget about you if you're not there constantly.
Right. It's interesting you bring this up. I think part of it's generational. Because I've recently taken a second job with a TV station here, and part of my deal is I have to post everything I do.
Right.
And I don't enjoy it. I don't want to do it. And I have no idea what hits and what doesn't. And so now I'm posting on Instagram and TikTok, and I've had Twitter. Twitter's like where sports news still kind of breaks, Schefter and such. And I don't get the mentality of people that are thirsty to do it all the time because I find it exhausting. Right?
Yeah, and it's just and people, they want the inside of your life.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. I just realized I was in the wrong business, but good at a couple things.
Sure.
I mean, that type of thing. If I could, I'd just play ping pong all day.
That if you had the choice, all you'd want to do is play ping pong.
Just play.
Are you good?
I'm decent.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, against a pro, I'd suck.
Sure.
I played with Olympians and stuff like that. That's who's taught me how to play. I can play a couple feet off the table and stuff like that. But I just saw you guys have a table over
We
here,
do.
but you don't have the right equipment.
We have it. When's the last time anybody used that ping pong table?
It's been a minute, but when Frank walked in, he immediately was like, those paddles suck.
Yeah.
No
I didn't even see what they were, but I just knew they didn't have. That would be like golfing with a wooden club.
Oh, it's okay. It's that bad. It's
antiquated. Oh man,
okay.
I mean my ping pong paddle for the people who are really interested in this stuff. Probably each sheet of rubber on each side is $75, and the paddle itself is probably $210.
So you're not just an enthusiast.
No, but it's where I get a lot of exercise. I burn 600 calories in an hour doing it.
So you're like moving side to side.
Yeah, trying to get as many forehands as I can.
Who do you play with?
Other guys that are about the same level. There's a lot of people.
Okay.
So I mean, sports people that I played with. Daryl Morey is a ping pong player.
Okay.
Rick Carlisle. I've never played Rick, but Daryl plays Rick. There's some NBA guys that play a little bit. I think Devin Booker plays some. He's not very good. There's a couple guys in the NBA that have brothers that have actually gone to China and trained there. Gotten better. There's a couple guys that would crush me, but yeah, it's just that's my you go golf.
Yeah,
I go play table tennis. Little Marty Supreme action.
Love it. Have you ever been recognized by somebody that surprised you? Like a very famous person was like, "Holy smokes, you're Frank Caliendo. Will you do this?"
When I first started, Will Ferrell
Oh, nice.
That was pretty cool. I went to a Groundling show in L.A., and which is an improv troupe that produces tons of people. And Will Ferrell came in. He goes, "You're Frank, right?" I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool.
That is cool. Wow.
When Tom Cruise knew me.
Yeah.
Probably the coolest story ever was my daughter's 13th birthday. We went to Ace Comic-Con in Seattle for her birthday, and Josh Brolin used me as inspiration for the movie W, as the George W. Bush impressification. So I was like, we have the same agency, and I was like, can I meet him there and have my daughter meet him? And they're like, yeah, we'll figure it out. And he was just so busy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We went through the line one time, and we got pictures because I knew the people, so I get to skip in the line. So we got the pictures, and I just have this picture of Josh Brolin with me and my wife, and he looks so confused. So we went back, and we finally got to meet him. The agent calls, you can go meet him now, but one problem, he's with Chris Evans. I'm like, we'll deal with it.
It's not a problem.
So we get over there with Thanos and Captain America. And I'm talking to Brolin for a second. My daughter's kind of talking to Chris Evans. She's 13 years old. She's talking to Chris Evans on the side. I'm talking to Brolin about something. And then Evans goes. Evans looks over to us like he something I said or something Brolin said caught his ear, and he goes, "What are you guys talking about?" And Brolin's like, "This guy helped me with a movie," and he's like, "A movie part? Like what part?" And I was like, "Thanos." He's like, "Wait a second, who are you?" I go, Frank Caliendo. Goes, "Oh my God, do Madden, do some Madden, do Madden doing this, do Madden doing that." He's hitting me with the Super Soldier Serum and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my daughter's like, Chris Evans is a fan of my dad.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was crazy. This is what I do all the time. Like Jeremy Renner messaged me the other day.
Oh, wow.
I could try to get all the Avengers.
Yeah.
But he just messaged big fan the other day, and I send that to my daughter.
That's
It's
cool.
Like, that's the type of thing. Those are the things I think are the greatest. The sports people my son likes to meet. We go to Summer League every year.
Nice.
To see the NBA rookies, and we usually get to sit in some pretty good seats and stuff like that. So that's fun, and but that's I'm trying to think of some of the other. J.J. Watt's become a friend.
That's cool.
He grew up, probably 20 miles from me. In Wisconsin. So. But my son's gotten to meet lots more sports people, more who he cares about.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, before we catch a break, and I would love if you would stick around. I understand if you're sweating.
No, I got it.
Okay. One of the highlights of the hit you did this week, and I got a lot of feedback on this, was Biden calling Trump to go golfing, and then you came in with Obama and Bush to make it a foursome. Let's do Biden calling Trump to play ping pong, and let's have Bush and Obama insert at the end to make it a doubles match. Can we do that?
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. There'll be something like that.
Fair enough.
Is that? Oh, we're doing that now?
Yeah, do that.
Oh,
now.
then we're doing that after the break.
You know what?
Back with that incredible presidential scenario.
Look at that. That's called a tease. Frank Caliendo, the legend himself, is live in studio. We'll do one more segment, tell you how you can get tickets again, and then we'll move on from there. Keep it right here on ESPN 700. All right, we've got Howard Beck stopping by to talk some NBA later. The world of professional golf is honed in on the 5th major, the Players' Championship down in Florida, so Paul Pugmire will join us. But Frank Caliendo, the legend himself, is live in studio. Frank is here in Salt Lake to play Wise Guys, and he's got a show tonight, a couple shows tonight, 6 o'clock tonight, 8:30 tonight, and then 6 o'clock tomorrow, 8:30 tomorrow as well. You can go to wiseguyscomedy.com. To grab some tickets, so it should be a fun time. Okay, we teased it, Frank, and thank you for being the professional in the room because I was going to actually have you do the impression. A lot of people probably listening to the show are sports fans, so they know you from Madden or Gruden. Your Kuiper Jr. is, I don't know why, that just kills me every time I see it.
Talk about tremendous situation. At the end of the day, you gotta go with Mel Kiper Jr. I got to talk about the wingspan, availability. At the end of the day, that's what we're gonna have. It'd be hard pressed to tell me otherwise.
I am so surprised that you told me that he doesn't have a problem with that.
Oh, he's so great. He's not that guy at all that you see on TV.
Yeah,
like he puts on the glasses. He's reverse Superman. He's like Bizarro. It's a weird thing where I said to his wife one time, like, what's he's completely different on TV. She goes, I know. He's super, I would describe him as sweet, soft-spoken and sweet.
That's stunning to me.
Yes, he's not that guy at all until you start talking football, and then he wants to brawl. But yeah, he's great.
How many of these guys, and then I badly want to do the presidential situation we talked about. It begs the question, like a Stephen A. Smith, once upon a time was like a pretty solid writer and a pretty measured dude, and now he's Stephen A. Smith. How
decided to run for president of the United States, and maybe I'll be part of that ping pong match.
At this point,
I'm ready to go.
At this
perpetuating a situation.
At this point, anything's possible, I guess.
You don't know it's my turn to talk.
I just wonder.
Propagating.
I just wonder how many of these guys are real people.
Proliferating.
I mean, it's hard because sometimes people just get so big that their character starts to take over.
Yeah.
And it's what brings all the money in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It happens with actors too. De Niro didn't always turn ahead to the side. He didn't make that face that much, but he gets so comfortable and just that's what happens. So I think a lot of sports people, you just find the character that works for you, the on television character, and just go for it. It's easier to go that route because things just start to flow. You kind of get into it and you turn it on. It's an on-off switch.
You seem like a pretty normal, measured dude to me.
So I always go back to rest. My rest is just quiet.
Yeah.
Then people are disappointed.
So I don't sleep that well because my mind doesn't shut up. I would imagine you have a rather busy mind, or can you shut it off?
I don't sleep well because I got to pee, but tinkle break. I don't. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't. I don't really have I more trouble turning it on and making it, going. Like this is, I can just go do this and it gets me rolling and I'll keep going.
Yeah.
But then it's a little hard to turn off afterward, and I don't like being like that as myself.
Sure.
So that's why people don't. They think I'm like this all the time. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't stand me either.
Well, you told me that you would love to just kind of be home and rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I just play ping pong and rest. That's the whole thing. I right now taking in a bunch of college basketball games. I'm looking forward to the selection.
Definitely.
On Sunday to see who gets in and who doesn't. But I think I've got a bunch of people, a bunch of the national shows that want me to put in brackets and stuff like that. So I think my Final Four is probably going to be, and I think Arizona is going to be very tough to beat. I think they're a Final Four team. Duke is ridiculous. Boozer is. People don't know. That guy is just so good.
Yep.
I know he doesn't jump out of the gym, but I don't know if you've noticed this. Luka doesn't jump out of the gym. Jokic doesn't jump out of the gym.
Yep.
His dad didn't jump out of the gym.
No, we had him here in Salt Lake. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's different types of players. If you know where to be, you can see it. You can see it start in college basketball. If people know where to be, That's one thing. If they know where to be and then can think one step ahead of everybody, and that's where Cameron Boozer, I think, is he's a step ahead of everybody right now. And then you get to the NBA, and if you can do that, just be in position. You don't have to be as quick as some of the other guys. You know,
For sure.
Andy's got ridiculously long arms.
Yeah.
He's probably 6'9" with those arms, probably a 7-foot wingspan. So I think Arizona, I think Michigan, let's see, who else? Michigan. And
Florida's going to be the other number
Florida's
one seed.
They moving all the way up to number
I
one?
think so. If UConn runs through the Big East, it'll be them.
UConn, if at full blast,
Yeah.
I know they lost the other night, but they're better than when they played Arizona at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Their 6'9", 260-pound big man wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So what Arizona doesn't do is shoot three-pointers very well. They can shoot them okay. They just don't do it. That Burry's the freshman. He's probably
good.
a one and done. Koa Pete's probably one and done. And Krivas is really good now. He's I think he got a redshirt year, so he's only a sophomore, but he's 7'2" and a developing kind of guy.
So you're watching college hoops.
Oh yeah. But I think Illinois, if they play smart, they have a chance. They've got all those Euros.
Yeah.
They're a full on European squad. A lot of itches at the end of the name. Ivich.
Yep.
Let's see.
Have you watched AJ DeBonsa at all for BYU?
Yes, he's number one or two.
Probably. He's really good.
Yeah, he can get separation.
Yeah.
That's the thing is DeBonsa is he's and from all accounts people say he's like a really nice young man.
Yeah, he is.
That's the other thing.
From what I've heard.
And
a worker too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is how much work goes into this. I don't care how good you are. Everybody's good in the NBA. So it's who puts in that hard work to get to that next level, too. And it's hard once you get millions and millions of dollars, especially by that second contract. So let's see. Florida and UConn. Trying to think if there's anybody that was kind of an underdog that nobody was really thinking about. But
Houston out of the Big 12
they
is
just
a
don't
tough
score.
team.
They're not as good defensively as they have been.
Yeah.
And they can rough up. They're kind of like a better St. John's. St. John's can beat people up.
Yeah.
But I saw them at the Crown, and I'm real good friends with I can't even think of his name, which is really good. How good of friends I am. Greg McDermott, coach of Creighton.
Sure, yeah.
And Bobby Hurley, former coach of ASU. So,
you know Bobby, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Bobby's awesome. Bobby's one of the greatest guys. Super, super nice and honest. Like most of these college coaches they're just big liars.
For sure, yeah.
It's just one lie after another.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to start and then if you look at Arizona, there's probably 3 guys that were told they were going to start
for
this year,
sure,
seniors that are coming off the bench, and that's why they're so good. Toby Awaka, that guy's a 6'8" powerhouse, one of the best. He might work himself into the NBA actually. I'm trying to think who else was there. Kansas isn't very good this year.
The Darren Peterson thing's been weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen you can never tell what's real and what isn't real. I've seen a lot of talk where it's been like this for him even through high school where he didn't always play. That's the tough thing. When you know you're going to get drafted in the top 5-year lottery pick, it's weird to even – I see it happen all the time. I mean, it was just so pronounced because he was at Kansas. That's been happening for many years where guys are kind of hurt. They don't want their stats to go down. Yeah. So they don't even play.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving played like 8 games.
Yeah, there's just lots of that. And even more recent than that, you see it guys at Arkansas a few years ago. Some of these guys, you just know that they're just getting taking themselves out of games basically, or not playing because they don't want to look bad.
Yeah.
Which I kind of understand, but at the same time, the rules make it hard. For you got to go play for a year. It's kind of like maybe they shouldn't have that. But that's I don't know. And I was trying to think who else. I like that UConn. I think it's really Duke should be the best. Who's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the AP top 25 right now?
So right now, Duke is 1. I want to say Arizona is 2.
Yeah.
Michigan 3. The 4 number 1 seeds will most likely be Arizona, Duke, probably Florida.
UConn went out because of that loss.
Yeah, I mean, we'll if UConn
that was
can
to Marquette.
It was if UConn can run through the tournament and win at the Garden.
They're really good. The thing I don't know is I was texting with an announcer the other day, like, what's Arizona's weakness? And their only thing that you could say is a weakness is their 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Jaden Bradley's an incredible
He's
point
really
guard.
good. And he's been around for a while, which
He's
is
his fourth
rare
year.
in college basketball.
1
now.
year at Alabama and then
Yeah.
3 years
Yeah.
at Arizona.
Duke is 1, Arizona's 2, Michigan's 3, Florida is 4. Then it's Houston, UConn, Iowa State. So
Iowa State's pretty good, too.
Utah and BYU are in the Big 12, so we watch a ton of Big 12 basketball. If Iowa State is healthy, but they're without the Toppin kid, they have got
Iowa State had Toppin?
or no. That was Texas Tech.
Texas Tech had Toppin.
Yeah, BYU beat Iowa State in Provo, but when they're at their peak, that's a really good basketball
Iowa State's
team.
because they got that Milosevic.
Yeah.
The 6'9", 3-point shooter, and they've got some players on that team, and they're just really well coached. That's a Greg McDermott disciple, TJ
Ossenberger, yeah.
Berger.
And then Michigan State's 8, Illinois 9, Virginia 10. Those are your top 10 teams.
Yeah, I don't see Virginia, but you never know, and somebody's gonna get beat earlier. I don't think Arizona goes out as early as they have been.
I hope not.
I don't think they're as good. I think they're close, but I don't think they're as good of a team as that team that had Ben Mathurin. Who else was on that team?
They lost early though, right?
Jalen Terry. They lost to. They got by TCU and then they got beat by somebody in the.
I think it was second round.
Elite 8. I thought it was Sweet 16 or Elite 8.
Oh, the team that actually made the little mini run.
Yeah, I can't remember who beat him, but Mathurin was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then Tabellis, who was their fourth option on offense, who the next year was like Player of the Year in the Pac-12.
Uh-huh.
I mean, didn't play any defense.
Do you go to a lot of Arizona basketball games?
I don't even like Arizona.
Oh, you don't even
stand
like.
it.
Oh, you're an
I just know
ASU
they're
guy.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an ASU guy, but I can tell when the team. I root completely against them.
Okay, fair enough.
But they're really, really good. I think that's it's the same thing with kind of UConn, where I think they're really, really good. They just can't. They just haven't been piecing it all together and they've had some injuries and stuff like that, which is almost everybody. But I don't know. Iowa State seems like they've got a chance. Everybody's got a chance.
Yeah, the
when
tournament's
you lose
wild.
one
yeah.
game, that's my favorite. I think it might be my favorite time. Next week,
It's mine.
I don't
Yeah.
work next week or the week after for a reason.
Yeah.
Because one, people don't come out to see me as much because sports fans are doing that all day, and
Sure.
I would be too.
Yeah.
And two, I just love watching. I get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and just watch all the way through all day.
100%.
And my wife yells at me.
Are you putting any action on any of these games?
No,
Or-
I
yeah.
like money too much.
I'm with you. I think this whole widespread acceptance of prediction markets and sports books is a really dangerous thing. I always tell my listeners, don't do it.
Yeah, or just bet on every underdog for the whole thing. I think you come ahead. You think you come out ahead.
Is that the
my
play?
son had a thing where he looked at that like 2 years ago. He did a little study of it. And he goes, if you bet the underdog every time, you actually come out ahead.
During every NCAA tournament
Yeah,
game.
every single game you bet the underdog.
Do you watch any NBA basketball?
I watch some. I don't know. People complain about NIL and transfer portal. I
Yeah.
think it's made college basketball more of a soap opera and football.
I agree.
No, I have never seen college basketball talked about as much as it has been in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Same with college football. College football is bigger than it's ever been.
The product's better. The on-field
Yeah,
product
because they're
is better.
25 years old.
Exactly,
too.
yeah.
But the schools are making so much money. The networks are making everybody's making so much money. Why shouldn't the players? I get that it's an education stuff, but it hasn't been. A lot of these kids have been making this money under the
Correct.
table for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
It's always funny when you see these coaches who are now in the on TV broadcasts and stuff. They get real quiet whenever they might not have known it, but exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
But there was always stuff going on. There were buckets of cash going to different people. So now it's above the line, but does it need to be regulated in some way? I guess. But here's the thing: in any other industry, you can be for hire on anything,
Right.
and that's really all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have this concept, and I get it because it sounds like I'm. In my life, I'm fairly conservative all the way around. I'm not I wouldn't say I'm a right wing kind of person. I'm not. I'm just a middle of the road type of person. But I'm like, okay, but I think if it's fair everywhere, I'm more of libertarian, anyways. But it's like if it's fair for every other business, and these YouTuber kids are making millions of dollars, why can't these kids who play the amount of time these kids put into this to get to the level they're at? A lot of times you think they're just good athletes. No. It takes a lot.
Yes.
There are those kids that are like the DeBonstas who are just at an elite level athletically.
Sure.
But that kid's also put in the hard work. So there's a difference between kids who are just athletically gifted. I mean, if you go play pickup at ASU, there's 50 guys that look like they could have played Division I basketball.
Absolutely.
They can't shoot, and they don't know they don't know the inner workings of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you watch a college basketball game, it's the coaches, and if you can do what the coach says, all of a sudden now you can do your job. Like that's what it is in the NBA. If you can do your job, you have a job.
Yeah.
If the coach goes, I know you do this, I'm putting you in to do this, and you do it, you'll keep going in.
Yep, for sure.
But if you can't do something, you're not. You just need something to do unless you're a superstar. And if you're 6'10", 6'11", and you can set picks and be wide and get 8 rebounds, 7 rebounds a game, you're going to play.
Right.
All you got to do is defend a little bit on the perimeter.
Yep.
Just block guys out a little bit, and you're going to play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to your point, the system was so antiquated, and anyone that clutches their pearls about it is scared of what the current climate is going to do to their revenue streams. So you hear athletic directors panic about it, and some coaches panic. Like, the players always should have been able to receive money, but it was so antiquated that when I went to the University of Utah. That's what brought me out here. I told you I was a Northeast kid, and I became friends with a lot of the players.
Air went on. Do you feel that?
Did it?
Yeah.
Finally, I sent a strongly worded text during the break. Frank Caliendo was here. Can we get the AC on? And I would, I was good enough to play with those guys up there. So I became friends with a lot of the players on the team. One of my best friends who played for the U, a local family who had a really good high school player hired him to coach the kid a couple times a week, and he was getting paid like $200 a pop. And he almost got kicked off the team.
Right.
He couldn't go coach another kid just to make some money. Like, they couldn't.
That stuff's all done.
Yeah, it wasn't just that they weren't getting paid. They could not go make money outside of their obligation.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And you guys have, you're in a downtime now for the NBA.
Yeah.
But Danny Ainge is here. You have the maestro.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, so there's just a plan.
There is a plan.
There is a plan that's in the midst of developing.
I'm excited for the plan to move into a serious basketball team.
Yeah, well,
it's been rough.
I'm sure it's there. It's just he's got the trying to use the word that's allowed on the radio to wait it out.
Cojones.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, well, that'll work. Yeah, we do. Outside of Barkley, do you have any NBA guys?
Just a little Shaq. Sure, it's pretty good. Barkley's basically his Rosetta Stone. Shaq will say something. Nobody knows what he says. Even the closed caption people are putting question marks up, and then Charles like, I agree with the first part of what you said, but the second part, you're a knucklehead. Trying to think of NBA. I used to do the Marv Albert from downtown, yes, with authority. Mm-hmm. One of the finest plays in the NBA. I'm trying to think if there's Bill Walton was a friend of mine.
Oh, cool.
I did a couple games with him and Dave Pash.
Very cool.
And that was the best. I remember being at Berkeley, blotches of beard not connecting in my face. I could smell colors. I could feel sounds. How great is this? Unbelievable. The Saguaro cacti. Trying to think if there's any other NBA people I really do. Probably not. I think that's about it.
When did you know, okay, I've made it. When did you know you weren't going to have to go get a second job while you were doing what you were doing?
Oh, I used to work at an indoor baseball, softball place, handing out tokens and refereeing basketball games. I did that at the end of college and stuff. I just graduated from college and I just gave it a shot because I was like, I wanted to be a baseball player, but I just didn't have the tools. I was a zero-tool player.
A zero-tool guy.
Zero-tool.
No one's looking for that
tools.
guy.
There were negative tools. I would have been in that boat. But I just went for it. I was like, what the heck? I have no plan. That's why still kind of like people like, why don't you do this? I don't know. I just kind of just do what I do, and I've made enough money that I can pick and choose.
It's a cool life you built for yourself.
There's more things I could do, but I also got to see my kids grow up and that type of stuff.
Which is awesome.
Great.
All right, before we let you get out of
Gotta
here,
play ping pong.
Let's-
Ping pong.
yeah,
I thought
let-
we were golfing.
let's do
We're
it.
not golfing. We talked about golf the other day, and you said you might get a golf. So I said, we're going to do this.
Oh, all right, so we got to serve. I mean, who's serving?
You're going to serve.
I don't want to serve.
You got to serve. If you don't serve, how are we going to play? This guy, he doesn't even want to serve. He doesn't want to serve. You got to serve your country. And a lot of people serve their country at the table tennis table, and that's what we're going to do. Barack, can you help us out? And George W.
I thought we were going to get here, man. Let's go play doubles, all right? Ganip, ganop. That's ping pong, spelled backwards.
Let me be clear. I wanted to stay with the golf. I thought that this ganip, ganop, I brought that into the vernacularification, man.
This is getting ridiculous. Can we just play? Do we alternate? Does anybody know the rules?
I know the rules. We go for ice cream afterward. Folks, come on. Plenty of ice cream. Ice cream. You scream. We all scream. 2-0.
It's not 2-0. We didn't even start playing it, and this guy thinks we started to play.
I'm ready for the ice creamification. Let me be clear. This was a bad idea. Well, how about we just do 1 point?
I'll make the point. We win. We're going to kick some tush. And we did. 1-0. Let's go. Ice cream.
I'm just in awe. It's phenomenal. Frank Caliendo is here to play some shows. Let's get out the touch points before I let you go.
Yeah. Wise Guys tonight, 6 and 8:30. And then tomorrow, 6 and 8:30, wiseguyscomedy.com.
Wonderful.
Clean shows, some sports stuff, some not sports stuff. So if you're like thinking about, hey, this guy only talks sports. No. And it's like I don't get into sports like stats.
Sure.
Everything I talked about in college basketball earlier, nothing
You're not
of
gonna hear
that
any of that,
level
yeah.
would be anywhere near what I do. It's more like the Muppet Show for little bits of sports.
Love it. Wiseguyscomedy.com, 6 o'clock tonight, 8:30 tonight, 6 o'clock tomorrow, 8:30 tomorrow. Frank Caliendo, thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's been a
thanks
pleasure.
for having me.
Rack me. I am out.
Love it. We'll catch a break. More next, ESPN 700. This is a throwback, okay, for longtime listeners of the show, because I first realized Howard Beck had good taste in music when I played this bump for him without knowing he was a fan of Death Cab, and he celebrated it. And since then, it's become the shtick that I can't get away from. It is a bit, but Howard Beck is our guest on a Friday. Happy Friday, Howard. How are you, buddy?
Doing all right, Spence. How are you? Never a bad time to come into to Soul Meets Body.
No doubt. Where do we find you? What's going on with you right now? Are you in Brooklyn, getting ready to go to a game?
Home in Brooklyn. No games tonight. The Knicks are on the road in Indiana. The Nets, I think, were down in Philly, maybe. So yeah, I'm watching from the couch tonight.
Very nice. Very nice. Good Friday. Good Friday night at home. Since we had the Knicks here recently, and they beat the Jazz, who are clearly not trying to win, as we've talked about. What's up with them? I really can't get a feel. It seems like the Cat Jalen thing at times is super inconsistent. Sometimes they look like one of the better teams in the East, and then sometimes they don't look like they're even belong in the top five. When they're winning, what are they doing well? And then what happens when the everything kind of falls apart?
They're a really weird team. Like on paper, you go, okay, Jalen Brunson, been an MVP candidate, all NBA first team kind of guy. Cat's a perennial all-star and all-NBA adjacent. And, any team would love to have OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges on their wings, for defensive purposes and three-point shooting. And, Josh Hart would improve every team he could be on. And you look at the starting five and even the bench, and you go, like, there's a lot to like here. And then, somehow they're not greater than the sum of their parts consistently enough. And it is confounding. It drives Knicks fans crazy. And I know many of them, of course. And I don't know if there's any excuse me. I don't know if there's any easy explanation other than, they rely a lot on Jalen Brunson, and I think on the nights he doesn't have it, they struggle to make up for that. Mikal Bridges is a pretty up and down and erratic offensive player. Karl-Anthony Towns, for whatever reason this season, is just not at his peak efficiency or peak production. His minutes are a little down, and his field goal attempts are down. And he said it once again, this time to my buddy Vinny Goodwill last week, that he's still, I guess I can't remember the exact quote. It was basically like trying to adjust to a different kind of role under Mike Brown this season. And their defense is actually overall better this season than it was last year by defensive rating. And so that's helped them at times on the nights the offense isn't clicking on all cylinders. But I think the bottom line is this: like, you want a great 1-2 punch if you can get it, and I don't know that they've got the most out of the Brunson Towns partnership that you would want. Have you ever seen JD in the Straight Shot live? No. Will you ever? Boy, I hope not. For our listeners who are confused, the owner of the Knicks is named James Dolan, and he literally has a band called JD and the Straight Shot where he sings and plays the kazoo and forces his employees to go to his shows. I bring it up because Dolan recently went on WFAN and said, basically, finals are bust and we should win it. They're not going to the finals. They're not winning the championship. So, and look, if you look at the landscape of the East, Detroit is good and they're young. Boston is much better than the Knicks, and we'll see what the Cavs do because I still think Donovan is leaving as soon as he can. They're not a championship contender. Do you think they've hit their ceiling with this group?
I think that's the most, if we're talking about the most important question for the Knicks, or just among the most intriguing questions when we get to the playoffs across the NBA, one of the top questions will be, is this the last chance for this team, this Knicks team as currently constructed? Because it's only 2 years in. It feels like longer, but it's only 2 years in since they got Towns. And, but this Brunson era is now in whatever, year four or five. Like we're pretty deep into this era. And, they obviously are expecting to break through. The owner put it out there. I don't think that was the wisest thing by him, but not surprising. And if it becomes a championship or bust thing, I mean, I'm with you. I don't think they're going to the finals. I don't think they're winning the championship, but it's not off the table. I don't think there's a clear favorite in the East. And the Celtics, as much as they have been a better team this season,
and might look better on paper, especially with Tatum back, even if he's not fully back to his old self. Like, they were the better team on paper last year too, and the Knicks knocked them out. So, the Cavs with Harden have looked pretty good. I know nobody trusts Harden in the postseason, but like, this is a 4-way race in the East, and whoever stays healthy and catches fire at the right time might be the one that ends up in the finals.
I was going to ask you who you like, and there's certainly a lot to like about Detroit, and they did have a little bit of a playoff experience a year ago. They won a couple after losing, I think, 4 straight. Tatum changes everything. You and I talked about it last week, and the Harden playoff stuff I think is real. And honestly, there's some Mitchell playoff stuff. There's some excellent Donovan playoff performances, and then there are a lot of games where he really wants it. He wants it bad, and there's a little Westbrook feel where the ball sticks quite a bit. If I asked you to pick, as far as what your gut tells you is the team you think will come out of the East, who would you say and why?
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I think Detroit has earned the title of favorite by virtue of their regular season record and everything that goes with that. And so I don't want to discount that, but they've never won a playoff series. And so, going from no playoff wins to the finals would be a pretty big leap, but I don't discount the possibility. That's in a wide open race in the East. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably lean Boston because they've been so great all season, even before Tatum got back.
Yeah.
And, he's definitely not himself. The explosion is not there yet. The burst is not there, but he's still super effective in so many ways as a shot maker. And he's driving and finding open guys. He's still defending. He's rebounding. And they can lean a lot on Jaylen Brown as they have all season. So, I don't know if I trust the Knicks enough. I don't know if I trust the Cavaliers enough. And I don't know if the Pistons, between their youth and the lack of a secondary playmaker after Cade, I just don't know if they've got enough.
On a scale of, wow, scoring 83 points in an NBA game is awesome, and wow, that was gross how it happened, where are you?
It was mixed for me. Like, I've been seeing alerts on my phone. I was watching a different game, and it was like, Bam just had 31 in the first quarter. I'm like, well, that's crazy, but okay, that's probably not going to continue. And then it was, he's got, whatever it was, 40-something at halftime, and I'm like, all right. And then eventually, when the third quarter was ending, and he was, at close to 70 or at 70, and I was like, oh, I better switch over. So I switched over, and I watched the fourth quarter. And yeah, that game was gross down the stretch. It was really unseemly and unsightly. And 83 is still 83. And I said this, on the Real Ones podcast today, which should be up on all the platforms shortly if it's not already, that if Bam had just checked out at a reasonable juncture, like I think he had 74 points and they were up by 28. The normal time to check out of a blowout would be 6 minutes left and you're up by 20 something. That's a good time to pull your starters or your star. And he could have just done that, and it still would have been the greatest game of his career. It still would have been a Heat franchise record. It still would have been an incredible achievement, but it wouldn't have felt forced. And I'm not saying you need to pull up short of the Kobe mark specifically because of Kobe, although there's certainly a lot of people out there who felt that sentiment and that added to the weight of the whole thing. It's more just that he had already achieved so much. He'd already had a great game without forcing it, without it looking unseemly, without any shenanigans. And the purity of the 70, 72, 74, whatever would have stood, and there'd be zero criticism. The only reason there's criticism is because he stayed in long enough to try to get to 81, which it's not even officially a record. Like, Will still has the record, but we kind of view it as a modern day record, which is fair. But it felt inorganic at that point. And so I have mixed feelings about the whole thing. Everybody loves Bam. Great dude, great, character guy, great teammate, all that stuff. Like, nobody's got anything against Bam, but the situation left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And I said this again on our podcast today. I was texting with some coaches this week, and they were absolutely appalled and, thought it was unsportsmanlike, to say the least.
Wanted to kick the tires with you on what Milwaukee is kind of faced with at this point because, Giannis comes back. So maybe you do what you can to get into the play-in because Giannis is one of those guys that when he's kind of like with the Clippers and Kawhi, like what are you willing to say about a team that has that dude? I don't think they're catching Charlotte. I don't think they're going to make it in. So at this point, do they join the rest of the teams who are out of it, of being unserious? And we talked about the Knicks earlier. The Giannis stuff has to be out there. I don't know what that's going to sound like, but if Milwaukee is really going to miss the playoffs, which it looks like they're going to do, how real does the Giannis stuff become this summer? And are the Knicks the team to look at?
I mean, the Bucks are done. They're 6 games out of the 10th seed, 6 games out of the play-in, 5 in the loss column. It's not impossible to make it, but they haven't even been that good since Giannis has been back. And, my buddy Zach Lowe, said this on his pod, I think yesterday, like he thinks we're a week out from them just shutting Giannis down.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's inevitable too. I think that probably happens. And I think that ends the, whatever illusion they had of being relevant this spring. And yeah, I mean, you can't miss the playoffs with a player of Giannis's caliber and not have there be consequences, especially given all the backdrop to this in the first place. I would just say this. I am absolutely certain he has, even though he keeps equivocating publicly, he has absolutely made it clear behind closed doors that he wants to be traded. That's already happened. And it's only a matter of time, and with this, the way this season has gone, granted his injury has been a large part of that, but it's only a matter of time. I will be shocked if he's in anything. I'll be shocked if he's still in a Bucks uniform next fall. Where he lands, who the heck knows? The Bucks entertained offers, obviously, at the trade deadline. They had good reason not to do it then. There'll be many more suitors in the off season. But yeah, I think we're close to Giannis having played his last game there.
Since I brought up Charlotte, probably a story that not enough people are talking about. And Gordy Chiesa was with us yesterday live in studio, Howard. And this time of year, I always like to get Gordy's award predictions down the stretch. He thinks Con Knippel is the rookie of the year. And he might be. What stands out about the job Charles Lee has done in a playoff team with Charlotte that I don't think a lot of people saw coming?
Excuse me. Sorry, getting over a cold here. Charles Lee has been fantastic for them, has instilled a level of professionalism that I think was lacking there. And I think some of that, too, is just, personnel. I think they've drafted better the last couple of years. I think LaMelo is starting to show some signs of maybe, maturing a bit as a player. He's always been super talented, but kind of impulsive and frustrating. And Con Knippel's having one of the all-time great rookie seasons. I think he's, by a lot of accounts, he's the favorite for Rookie of the Year right now, and that's saying a lot considering that Cooper Flagg was the number 1 pick and considered a generational type of talent. But Cooper's missed a ton of games, and that's going to hurt him. And Con Knippel's having the greatest shooting season by a rookie ever. I'll be curious to see how it goes down. I mean, we've got a month to go here before ballots are due and the season ends, but I do think that Rookie of the Year race is going to be, it's a real race.
Before I set you loose, and I can tell you're up, you needed some rest, Howard. You're a busy guy, so we're going to let you rest in a little bit. But I do want to talk about interesting scene last night. And look, Shea's awesome. He is, and he's not the only one that does this. But this has turned in topically around the NBA as to whether or not the league needs to look at this foul baiting stuff. It's not new for good players to try to get to the free throw line. Jaylen Brown yelling, "That's not basketball," was quite a moment, though. What'd you make of that?
Yeah. And then Jaylen Brown talked about it, popped off after the game, talking about how, I don't do that. And we can't, we shouldn't allow this in the league, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he didn't say it about Shea post game, but maybe that was implied. The league has had some version of this issue for a while, obviously. And there've been all kinds of guys who've been really good at drawing fouls, and whether you think that that's legitimate or illegitimate, whether people want to call it grifting, whether they want to call it, being a free throw merchant, all this stuff. It's not a Shea problem specifically. It's just an NBA problem. And it's, players are always going to do whatever they can to game the system. and it's up to you as a league to address it. So whether that's rules changes or rules emphases or the way officials call the game, the league has to be the ones to tamp this down. And the players are always going to try to do whatever they can. They're going to look for every advantage. So the league has to address it. And I think it was good that Jaylen Brown called it out, not because I think you need to call it a particular player, but just the overall trend of it is something that needs that pressure from the players themselves.
Howard, you're a good man for giving it a try. You go drink some tea, you lay down, you get some rest. I appreciate your time today. Have a nice, relaxing night at home, okay?
Appreciate it, Spence. Thanks.
All right, the great Howard Beck. That actually says a lot about Howard. I want to be clear.
And he flexed so that we could get Frank in. So.
Oh, wow.
Stole Howard's spot.
Let's be clear. Howard Beck is a big-time NBA media member. He's an excellent writer. He's got a good podcast for The Ringer. Most guys at that level, if they were feeling sick, would not have come on a radio station in Salt Lake City. I could tell he was praying, like, don't ask me a question about the Jazz. What I wanted to do, Porter, and you tell me how this would have gone, okay? So for a little context here, Howard has been, how shall we say, straightforward, honest, and salient about his displeasure with Jazz fans complaining about the fine. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Very direct.
Very much so.
More so than any guest we've had on. I mean, there was one hit after the fine and Jazz fans attacking poor Bobby Marks, the sweetest of all of us, where Howard came on and was like angry and grumpy about the entire dynamic, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's safe to say.
Well, let's just real quick, just to reset my opinion so you know where I'm at with the entire dynamic of the Jazz being fined $500,000 for sitting Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. in the fourth quarter. They deserved to be fined. They deserve to be punished. For all the people around here clutching their pearls and saying, well, picking on us, it's so embarrassing. It's boring at this point, quite frankly. My issue is, where are the fines for the other teams doing the same thing? My issue was never like, oh, you're picking on the Jazz. My issue was, okay, treat everybody the same. I bring you to last night. The Pacers finally played Ivica Zubac. Okay, he's been out for a little bit, and people are wondering, is he really hurt? What's the deal? Well, comes back, plays a ton in the first half, looked really, really good, had 8 points, like 7 boards. Andrew Nembhard, 23 points in the first half, 17 minutes. Neither of them played in the second half. Okay, neither of them played a minute in the second half. Remember, Jazz were punished. Not for tanking specifically, but for sitting good players in the second half who were healthy and ready to play. So that's number one. The Pacers lost the game. Of course, that's what they're trying to do because they are tanking in this gap year without Tyrese Halliburton. Then the Washington Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Trae Young subbed out at the 5:26 mark in the third quarter for the Wizards, did not return. They lose in overtime. What exactly am I missing here? Right? I mean, if you're going to do it to the Jazz for doing what they did, you got to do it to these other teams who are doing the same thing.
Well, and I guess I'm beating a dead horse here, but the thing that I've been heavy on is that the reason the Jazz got fined, and it's not the only reason, but I do believe it's a big reason the Jazz got fined initially, was because although they were clearly tanking, as were 8-9 other teams in the league, they didn't give the league a heads up on the injury report so that the league could give DraftKings and FanDuel a heads up on the money lines. Now, what Washington did the other night didn't do that. They brought guys out late. So, yeah, now we're getting into a place where I think teams are maybe seeing what they can get away with on a different level than they were 3 weeks ago, because what the league did to the Jazz kind of reset how we look at the I guess the enforcement of all this.
You sound like an angry gambler.
Sorry.
You are, aren't you?
No, I don't. Listen, I very much don't bet on the Jazz.
Okay.
So I'm an angry basketball fan who is annoyed that the league seems to have people in certain places calling the shots and maybe having some influence over the commissioner, who he should be the one able to call the shots. And hey, I don't know if you saw Pablo Torre's episode last week.
I did not.
The Clipper stuff is unacceptable in the NBA. And
he's still on that beat, huh? Pablo is?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of gave what I see as a, hey, NBA, here's all you need, including evidence from a federal investigation into a fake company that was full of fraud. And the league has, again, I know that the investigation is still ongoing, but until they come down on the people in the organization who is doing that, and until they show less arbitrary enforcement to the gambling stuff, I still become, I guess, angry about it.
I have a homework assignment for you.
Okay.
It's clear that with the current administration, the lack of regulation with everything is opening up the potential to make a lot of money in really weird places. I want you to figure out how we can do that.
You want me to find your grift?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Let me know. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want you to go to jail. I just want to find a way, because all of these people are clearly capitalizing on the fact that right now is a good time to do a lot of illegal things to make money because it's happening everywhere,
right?
Including the people that are supposed to be in charge of the country. So let's capitalize on this before a grown-up gets into the White House and make sure that we're back to like actually punishing people that are grifters.
Yeah,
this weekend, Monday. Opening tip Monday, you are presenting me our business opportunity to capitalize on this lack of regulation to make a bunch of money.
I don't think we can go public with it, though. That's part of the grift. We got to kind of keep it behind closed doors.
We'll do it off air.
There you go.
But just agree on air so I have a record that you will do this homework this weekend.
I'll try.
And please don't be like, hey, just bet prop bets on Kalshi.
Prop bets. You just got to get inside information first and then bet on it.
Where can we get
insider trading here?
Where can we get inside information?
I don't know, man. I lost all my sources.
No, you still have sources.
Where?
I'm not bringing Utah into this. Okay, we're keeping our friends at Utah out of this. And obviously, I'm being facetious. It is wild, though, to Porter's point, how much of these decisions are steeped in the fact that these leagues are in bed with sports books that not too long ago straight up illegal. It's pretty wild. One more thing, Clowney and Claxon last night. Nets were up in the third quarter. They sit them with 4:43 left in the third quarter, did not return. The Nets even led in the fourth quarter. They lost by 11. It's perplexing to me that, the selective outrage. The Jazz deserve their punishment. So do 4 or 5 other teams, and we're not seeing it. All right, the world of professional golf has let me be clear about something real quick. We are not going to scheme here behind the scenes to make money doing something illegal. It's a bit. It's a radio show. We're having fun, so everybody calm down. Hell, we had Frank Caliendo in here. We're having a good time on a Friday. All right, we'll bring in Paul Pugmire coming up. We'll talk a little golf, look around the PGA Tour. But before we catch a break, we have a new client on the show, and let me just say this. If you have kids in the car, this new client is about men's sexual wellness. If that's sensitive to you, then turn the radio down. If you're interested in it, I can tell you that this is a process that is working for hundreds and hundreds of men who have gone in and done it. I can tell you because I did it myself. They wanted me to try the process, so I went in and I did it. So there's a spectrum here, right? You have erectile dysfunction all the way on one side. Luckily, I'm good there. Don't have to deal with it. But on the other side, healthy, sexually active men can benefit from this on a number of different levels. And I can tell you it works because I've done it. Okay, so it's Wasatch Medical Spa. It's a new technology that my friend Shelly from Wasatch Medical Spa has brought to the state. It's called Apex RF. It's a non-surgical, drug-free treatment. It's no pills. It's no injections, no downtime. It takes about an hour, and that's all. Basically, a warm gel, and then this machine they rub on you, and it doesn't hurt at all. It's very warm, and they're very nice. It's very discreet. It's not anything weird. And I'm telling you, if you're married and that stuff isn't working well for you anymore, this can help with that problem. It is across the board. They're getting unbelievable results. And as a result of them being a client on the show, here's the great thing. 50% off. You're saving $300. $300 savings, okay? First visit, it's an easy 30-minute free consultation with no obligation. Go learn about it. Tell them you heard me talking about it. They're going to knock $300 off the deal. Book online at wasatchmedicalspa.com. Trust me, it works. I'd like to say more, but this is a family-friendly show, and it is AM radio. wasatchmedicalspa.com. It's wasatchmedicalspa.com. Experience the next level of men's performance and sexual wellness. We'll catch a break, do a little golf coming up next with Paul Pugmire on ESPN 700. First pitch for the USA-Canada World Baseball Classic game, about 6 o'clock tonight. That game is being played in Dalkin Park in Houston, Texas, featuring a very scared Jeff Passan. Why does it's Jeff Passan, right? Like, it's not Passan, it's Passan.
Yeah, that's Jeff.
Why does he constantly look like he has just seen a ghost? He always looks terrified. Look at him.
He's always breaking news. I don't know.
He's very smart. He's very good at his job, but he always looks terrified to me.
TV.
Don't. That was rude. You did that on purpose. All right. The world of professional golf, the PGA Tour, honed in on what most people believe is the fifth major. It is the Players' Championship. Our next guest joins us on a regular basis to help us understand the landscape of professional golf and the local golf scene. Paul Pugmire, happy Friday. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good, Spencer. How are you doing?
I'm well. Why are you talking to me? It is like 70 degrees. Why are you not swinging a golf club?
Oh, my gosh. I'm on my way to St. George. We're taking Utah Golf Radio down to be there for the Winter Champs tomorrow morning. It is the first championship of the year put on by the Utah Golf Association, and we are going to be there for that. So I'm on my way. I'm working, man.
It is good to be Paul Pugmire, man. I'll tell you what. Good stuff. Well, enjoy that. We'll get to that in a moment. But the fifth major, yeah, that's the same, describing the Players' Championship. So let's put some context onto why this tournament is so highly thought of among PGA Tour players.
Oh, my gosh. It starts with the field. This is the signature event that is put on by the PGA Tour itself. And so it's their showcase each year. And as a result, they get a really great field. Plus, even though it started as a transient event that moved around to different courses in its early years, they built a course for this purpose, for this tournament, and it's the course we now know. The Tournament Players Club, TPC, at Sawgrass in northern Florida, and it's a Pete Dye masterpiece, brilliant design, and it is the golf course as well that really matters. And this is something that we hear more about in recent years, where tournament players, the great players, say it matters where you win. They want to win on Pebble Beach. They want to win at the old course at St. Andrews. They want to win on great golf courses. And so they being at Sawgrass really matters. And so this is something that matters to the players. So as a result, you get an amazing field, a great field, and that's why this matters so much.
Give me a little history lesson here. Great moments from this tournament, great champs from this tournament. You know, some of your favorite Players' Championship moments.
Oh my gosh! Well, it starts with better than most.
Okay.
That was a serpentine double breaking putt from the back left of the 17th green to the front center of the 17th green. It was on Saturday. It didn't ultimately win the tournament for Tiger, but it did put him in the final group going into Sunday. But that putt, one of the greatest putts ever hit, and absolutely one of the greatest golf calls in sports broadcasting. It was Vern Lundquist calling the better than most putt. And how do you top that? I don't know. But you also have to consider be the right club today. That was Hal Sutton hitting a 6-iron into the number 18 green when he took down Tiger Woods and proved to the world that Tiger could be beat. That is another great moment. and there are so many. Recently, Cam Smith, when he won it, he came up the 18th hole needing a par to win, and he was slapping it left and slapping it right and looking like he was going to blow the tournament. And then he ended up hitting an absolutely just brilliant 30-yard chip shot to seal the deal. And that one will live forever. Freddie Couples rinsing his tee ball on 17, and then in this lackadaisical, laconic, Freddie way, knocking in his second ball for a routine 3. It was, just the list goes on and on and on. I could talk for another 20 minutes just about great players' moments.
When Fred Couples won in 1984, he made $144,000. Rory McIlroy last year won $4.5 million.
Thank you, Tiger.
That is just wild. Yeah, you're right. I mean, certainly, yeah. Let's see. Scotty's got a couple of these back to back. JT won one.
And
yeah, go ahead.
And he's the only successful defense.
Oh, so I've seen Tiger won it a couple of times, but yeah, not back to back. So Scotty's the only golfer to ever successfully defend a player's title. Wow.
Correct. Yeah.
That's pretty wild. All right, so let's see here. I had my computer's refreshing. Tony had a really good day yesterday, right?
That was so good to see.
It was awesome to see. I can't find him though. So has he struggled today? I don't see him. Where's Tony?
Yeah, he has slipped down the leaderboard today, and he hasn't struggled per se as much as he just kind of just kept pace. He didn't pick up any ground, and you need to be making progress most every day on the PGA Tour. You know.
Oh, he carded a 75, so he had a tough one today.
Actually, he slipped back then. It's been a few minutes since I've been able to look. Yeah, so he has slipped back a bit.
He's even for the tournament, but it looks like he'll play the weekend. The cut line is 2 over. We'll have to see.
Right.
So it's good that at least he's playing the weekend. How does Tony's game fit with this track, Paul?
He has had a hard time on this course. He's never done well with it. And so that's doubly why I was so glad to see a strong round out of him yesterday. I think his highest finish is somewhere in the mid-teens. Let's just call it a 15th place finish. And this course is really interesting. Like I say, it is a Pete Dye masterpiece, one of the brilliant architects of the game. This is his greatest achievement. And it is a course that absolutely stands the test of time, stands a comparison to every great golf course in the world, has a unique characteristic in that there's no weak hole. There are 18 holes that can stand on their own, that can go anywhere in the world, and they would be great holes. And even great golf courses like Augusta and St. Andrews and Pebble Beach, they have holes that are less spectacular than the ones we all know. Sawgrass, there's 18 great holes. There's 18 severe tests of the game. It makes you do everything in order to win. My point being, this course produces champions of every stripe, of every characteristic that you can think of. Long hitters, short game masters, straight drivers of the ball. There's a lot of different ways to figure out how to win on this course.
So a couple of years ago, because I didn't know who he was at the time, I just happened to turn on a tournament and see him swing, and I was like, holy smokes. I said to you that Ludwig Oberg seems to have all the game that you want to be one of the greats, and obviously he's still very young. He's our leader at 11 under. He's through 17, so barring something catastrophic on 18, he's going to take the lead in round 3. Every time I see Xander's name at the top, close to the top of the leaderboard, I always come back to that story that Steele told me, Steele DeWalt, when I asked him who was the dude in Q school you all were in awe of, and he said Xander. He's a 10 under. Yeah, I mean, you've got to keep an eye on him, of course. Cam Young, my New York boy, has got a ton of game as well. So I'll just ask you the question that I do every time after round 2. When we're more or less through round 2, we got Russell Henley on 15, Victor's on 15 as well. How far are you willing to go to say these are the golfers that still have a chance to win this thing at the end?
Yeah. So major championships, and you started by calling this the 5th major. Open question, something we could discuss if you want. It's legitimate to say so. It's legitimate to challenge it. But the players shares a characteristic with majors, which is almost every time the winner comes out of the top 20 in the world. And so even though we see people on the leaderboard who are not in the top 20 of the world, let's look at the at the top of the leaderboard. And what I'm going to read to you is a concurrent list of the leaderboard today and Ryder Cup players. So it's Oberg, Schauffele, Young, Connors, Henley. These are all great players. Straka, JT, McNeely. Now we're down to T7, and we're getting to players who aren't Ryder Cup players, but McNeely was in the Ryder Cup conversation. And then Hodges, Bridgman right there at T7. He won on Riviera, one of the great golf courses in the world. And so already after just 2 rounds, the separation is taking place, and the separation is top players in the world. That's what you see almost every year at the Players. And so, let's see who's within 5 shots normally. That takes us down to T7, and that gets the players that I just read for you. And so out of those, well, you're going to have to keep your eye on Schauffele. He has shown an ability to close in a major. Thomas is 6 shots back. That might be a little too far at this point, especially given the quality of the people in between him and the lead. Right now, I think you've got to just be looking at the top of the leaderboard, and that's going to be Oberg at -8, Schauffele at -7, and then Cameron Young and Corey Connors each at -5, T3. Those are the players right now that are driving the boat.
JT is 4 back for Ludwig just birdied 18, a 63. Oh my gosh! He's
okay, 18
is
so hard. You cannot imagine how hard 18 is. It looks hard on TV. It is so much harder when you're standing there on the tee and looking at the options in front of you and walking up that fairway and trying to hit it into that green. 18 is so brutally hard. Whenever somebody needs to make a score on 18 to win this tournament and they do it, you've got to stand and applaud because it is great golf.
Is it 2 golfers per? Or is it 3? What are the groupings? Is it 2 or 3?
It'll be 3 for the first 2 days, so 3 through today, and then they'll cut it down to 2 after the cut.
You could do worse than a Ludwig Oberg, Xander Schauffele duo down the stretch on a Sunday, Paul, right?
I'd watch that.
For sure. So JT is 5 back. Is it too early in his return to expect him to be able to do this for 4 rounds?
It's an open question. Coming back from surgery and then playing 4 rounds of elite tournament golf is a big lift. Sometimes the players can do it. Sometimes they can't. It is infrequent that they're able to compete and be in the mix in the first tournament back. It normally takes some reps to get their sea legs under them. And because he smelled it up so bad at the Arnold Palmer, JT did not test 4 rounds last week. So we don't know that yet. He doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were talking about this, and, when we were up at T-Box, by the way, shout out T-Box, shout out Jordan Bloxham, go up there and get fitted.
Really.
And, Paul, I can't even sleep. I'm just waiting for the clubs to arrive. I'm like a kid at Christmas. But yeah,
I'm kind of eager to see him too, Stan.
Well, hopefully I can hit them. I can promise you this: they will not be broken. I've learned my lesson. We're going to keep those things nice and fresh. But in fact, I'll just let you take a couple minutes and talk about Jordan and T-Box and what you want people to know.
What I want you to know is, I've said this before. I'll say it again. If you get fit for your shoes, you should get fit for your golf clubs. Just like you need your shoes to fit for your feet to work right, you need clubs to fit your body and the way you swing the club. And everything simply will work better. And so think of it in terms of what you do with your shoes. And the reality is everybody is careful about making sure their shoes fit. Same rules should apply. You need to get your golf clubs to fit your body, to fit the way you swing. And there's none better than Jordan Bloxham at T-Box for doing that for you.
Well said. And I would go up to the one in Centerville. That's where Jordan's at. Just search Jordan Bloxham T-Box. He's also on Instagram. You can direct message him that way. Tell him I sent you, and he's going to give you the same deal that he would give you if you didn't tell him that. Just tell him I sent you.
Very nice.
It's weird to say what's wrong with Scotty Scheffler because he's obviously still, by any metric, the best player in the world. Looks like he's going to play the weekend as long as he doesn't bogey 18. He's right on the cut line, and he's spoiled all of us. What are you seeing? What's not working for Scotty right now?
Boy, that is a tough question to answer, but I don't know why. But the thing to look at is he is not driving the ball into position. He is missing fairways and putting himself in places where he has to play either unreasonably great shots or recovery shots of some kind. And one of his superpower strengths up to this point has been that he drives the ball into position. And he hasn't been doing that lately. Watching him a little this morning, he was all over the park. And Sawgrass does not allow you to do that. There's no bail. That's one of the characteristics of this golf course. There is no place to bail. You either hit the shot or you get jabbed.
All right, Paul. Sorry, need a little water there. It's Friday. The voice goes on Friday after 4 hours every day. What's coming up on the show? What do you want our listeners to know about your little jaunt down south?
Oh, my gosh. Well, first of all, we will do all things Winter Champs. Like I said, it is the first championship of the year. For the first UGA championship. So UGA championship season begins. It's underway this weekend, Winter Champs. We will be there at Copper Rock, one of the great courses in the state, and we're real excited about that. Plus, we will be talking to BYU's Kihei Akina. He did something absolutely remarkable last week that has the national media buzzing a little bit, asking the question, has this ever been done? We think the answer is no. Kihei played in a PGA Tour event last week. He played in the Puerto Rico Open. He qualified for that by winning an amateur tournament last summer. And so he's playing in Puerto Rico. He makes the cut, has to play through Sunday afternoon because he made the cut, and then flew from Puerto Rico to Miami to San Diego, had flight problems, got into San Diego about 1 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, grabbed a few hours of sleep, and then he had a 7 o'clock tee time Monday morning, pegging it for the BYU Cougars in a college event, which he went out and won.
Jeez.
Kihei Akina is remarkable. We're going to be talking with him about that.
Good stuff, my friend. Travel safe. We'll get you back soon, okay?
Thank you much. We'll see you.
All right, Paul Pugmire brought to you today by our friends at You Into Golf. This week at You Into Golf by Worldwide Golf. It's the tailor-made fitting and bonus trader event March 12th through the 15th. Take advantage of the 50% bonus trade-in towards your new purchase. You Into Golf by Worldwide Golf. Get there. PGA Tour update time. It's the fifth major, as most people like to say, and Ludwig Oberg just birdied 18, a card of 63. He's your leader in the clubhouse at 12 under par. Xander Schauffele at 10 under. Cam Young at 9 under. Corey Connors at 8 under. Sepp Straka, Justin Thomas, Russell Henley all at 7 under par. Then it's Jacob Bridgman, Lee Hodges, Maverick McNeely at 6 under par. We'll give you 5 under, and then we'll catch a break. That's Brian Harmon, Michael Thompson, Matt Fitzpatrick, Austin Smotherman, and Tommy Fleetwood. Victor Hovland just birdied to move to 5 under as well. Tony Finau had a great day one and not so much day two because golf is hard. He carded a 69 yesterday, followed it up with a 75 today. He is even for the tournament, but that means he will play the weekend. All right, 3 hours down, 1 hour to go. Final hour of the program is next on a Friday right here on ESPN 700. You have an iPhone, right, Porter? You're an Apple guy.
I got an Apple.
So you have an Apple account.
Yeah.
Do you get notifications that they randomly have just charged you like $3, like all the time?
No.
Huh.
I'm pretty OCD about that stuff. So
well, I should probably look into that because they're just like charging me
from Apple, or is it telling you from like an app?
No, it's from Apple. I have my
you must
bank
be
account
subscribed to something.
Yeah, I have my bank account set up where they inform me when things are, taken out of it. And Apple just randomly charges me like $2-3 like 4 times a week.
That's not supposed to be a thing. You must be subscribed to something through your Apple account on your phone or laptop.
How many times do I have to tell you that when it comes to young people things, you have to help me?
And I'm the wrong guy to help you.
Well, you just were able to help me there.
But Apple iPhones is as technologically advanced as I can get. The fact that I get through this radio show with all these buttons and things is a legitimate miracle every single day.
Well, that's what we do. We make miracles every day on ESPN 700. You've heard the theory that Apple intentionally designs their products to die at a certain point so you go buy new ones, correct?
I have, and it was proven right, and I think they had to go to court about it, and now they cannot legally do that. But my phone, in the last update they did, it now everything is worse.
Did you say
everything sucks now?
Did you say they can't legally do it anymore?
I think so. I think there was an actual class action there.
Okay, well, here's what's happened, just so you know. After the show, I'm going to pick up my Apple Watch from the Apple Store. I bought it 13 months ago. There's a 1-year warranty. As soon as the first week of month 13, it just died on me.
Yeah.
So I went and took it in, and they're like, duh, there's nothing we can do. We're going to send it to a place, see what they say. And then for a replacement, it's $300. A new one's like $450. So I'm about to go pay $300 just to get the watch back. And it broke month 13 after a 12-month warranty. That is fishy to me.
I don't disagree.
Steve Ballmer, man.
I don't disagree.
Goodness gracious. All right. Fun show today.
Steve Ballmer's Microsoft.
Well, I was thinking, I was going to say Steve Jobs, but he died.
I'm mad at Steve Ballmer for other things.
It's not Steve Jobs' fault. He has passed.
In fact, it's gone downhill since Steve Jobs moved on.
Yeah, he was the glue. So, yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm going to do that. All right, coming up next, we've got Big 12 semifinal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Big 12 hoops coming your way. No BYU. So some college basketball over the weekend. The Jazz are in action tonight, taking on Portland. We've got the Mammoth back tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Mammoth lost again to Chicago. That's a wild matchup. World Baseball Classic, RSL tomorrow, so a busy weekend. Porter, how will we wrap it up, or I should say recap it, on a Monday show?
On a Monday edition of the program, we'll talk some college hoops. Spencer Nelson will join the program, former Aggie, former pro. Craig Bolerjack, voice of the Jazz, recapping the weekend that was. Tom Haberstroh for the NBA Daily Assist. We'll get a standout from the weekend on the Real Salt Lake side and go from there.
There you go. So jam-packed weekend. Supposed to be some nice weather tomorrow. Going to play a little golf, then head to the RSL game. A little chilly on Sunday, but be safe. Have fun. We'll talk to you on a Monday show. Special thank you today to Zach Harper, Frank Caliendo, Howard Beck, and Paul Pugmire for any of the sound you missed. The website is ESPN700sports.com. Download our mobile app. Take us on the go. That mobile app is the ESPN 700 app, and it's free in the Google Play Store or the Apple Store as well. And then for what we do in our space every afternoon for 4 hours, check out the podcast page and support it, please. We ask you to do that because it helps us. It is called The Drive with Spence Checketts. It's available wherever you get your shows. Coming up, it's Arizona and Iowa State, some Big 12 basketball. Have a great weekend. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. We'll talk to you on a Monday edition of The Drive. And as always, you can catch it right here on ESPN 700.